Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to KFEX Fire Escape Coffee House Radio. My name is Caleb Wood. I am the Director of Broadcasting here at Chanute High School. We are currently in Coffeyville, Kansas, where the Chanute Blue Comets are about to take on Coffeyville Golden Tornadoes here at Veterans Stadium, I believe is what it's called. And beside me tonight, we have my good friend, Zach Mitchell. Zach, this is your second time on KFEX Radio, first time on Comet Vision, as we are actually streaming tonight as well.
And it's my first football game with you, and it's good to be back behind the mic. It's good to see you again, and it should be a good evening for some high school football.
Absolutely. So tonight we have about 13 minutes until game time gets started. And like I said, we are here at Coffeyville Community College's, basically their stadium, correct? I mean, they're the ones who use this most, right?
Veterans Memorial Stadium is actually a unique opportunity for any athlete that gets to perform here. It is shared between the city for events, the local community college and its vaunted historical program, as well as high school. And I think they will, I don't know that they've done it in a while, but even the middle school has access to it if they would like.
Nice.
If they would like. Usually they play at their home field behind their school, but it is open to a lot of people. It's a beautiful facility here.
Absolutely.
19 years old, was opened.
Wow, that's surprising.
Yeah, opened in 2001, and it's been had a lot of good football memories. A lot of talent has come across this field, and looks like it's going to be a very fair, evenly paced game here tonight.
Absolutely. And if any of you have ever actually come to Coffeyville, seen their stadium, first thing you think is, wow, that's huge for Southeast Kansas. That's a massive stadium. And it absolutely is. And it's a very nice view actually up here in the press box. Technically we're on the third floor, but it seems right. We're like, 150 feet up in the air, something like that. But yes, absolutely. Fair night for football. Weather is absolutely beautiful. Slight bit of chill here tonight in the air, which for me is perfect football weather. You get the feeling of fall in the air, and that's just your classic football weather.
Well, this is the only football that will be played at Veterans Memorial Stadium during the fall semester. The college, all junior colleges have pushed athletics back until spring, and so CCC will not be playing here until, I think, late March. So this is, if you're a football fan in Southeast Kansas, specifically Montgomery County, action like this is the only type of football you get until you get to see the Chiefs play on Sunday. So there was a wind advisory earlier, and up here on the stadium, it's one of the higher elevation points in the county. So I don't see the American flag blowing a whole lot, so I think that's died down. So passing game, running game, it's played on turf, so it should be a fast-paced game, and the weather should not be a huge element.
And it looks like right now we have some deer that are trying to get onto the field. I've actually never seen that before. That's very odd. I just saw them coming out of nowhere, and it looked like they were about to try to jump that fence. But sure enough, they're hanging out in the javelin and discus field over there. So we'll see if they make an appearance during the game. Once again, we have about 11 minutes till the game starts, and I know some of you guys are probably wondering, how does Zach know so much about this stadium? How does he know so much about the college around here? Well, Zach actually is from Coffeyville. He's a Coffeyville native. He is a good friend of mine. Him and I went to college together. You know, if you know me, I am also a Chanute native. So tonight with the commentating, we're going to get a very good even ground, kind of an unbiased between both teams here, between me being a Chanute native and Zach being from Coffeyville. So we're super excited. Again, 10 minutes. We're going to take a couple of minutes here. In fact, let's go ahead and set the time to about 3 minutes until we get back here live on air. If you're watching from home, we're going to not necessarily leave you in silence, but we are going to leave you with some crowd noise, some background music here at the stadium. If you're listening on the radio station, enjoy these commercials. We'll be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to present the pride of Coffeyville, the Kindley High School NATO Marching Band. The band band is under the direction of the Director of Bands, Thomas Makowitz, Assistant Director, Mary Helen McLeod, and Drum Major, Jaden Clark. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please stand and remove all headgear as the Phil Kindley High School Marching Band plays our national anthem. We'll see you at halftime.
All right, welcome back to KFEX Firescape Radio. Once again, I am Caleb Wood here with my good friend Zach Mitchell. We are covering the Chanute Blue Comets and Coffeyville Golden Tornadoes varsity football game tonight here at Veteran Memorial Stadium in Coffeyville, Kansas. If you're watching the live stream and you look at the scorebug later, you will see on the scorebug that it will say FKHS. And that obviously stands for, Zach?
Phil Kindley High School.
And why is Coffeyville named Field Kindley High School? I know there's especially a lot of people from out of town. Is this going to be a long story?
No, I haven't done my alma mater research in a while. Man, is this a test? Am I being quizzed?
Yeah.
Oh boy, this is.
Your boss is listening.
Can I call? Like, is it How to Be a Millionaire? Or
we'll look during commercial break.
He was, as far as I know, he was a pilot, probably in World War II. So he was a veteran, this is Veterans Memorial Stadium. So strong ties to military around here. I myself have, in my own broadcast program, several students have come through there and joined military ranks after graduation on the National Guard, which is very cool to see people make such monumental and important decisions in their life and come through, and it's cool for us to be able to honor them and to be able to support them through their education. And so that's kind of the ties that Coffeyville, really, I want to say all of Southeast Kansas really has. But you could look to any high school in the area and say, yeah, they really honor the men and women who support and provide us with our freedom.
Absolutely. Amen to that. So once again, we have about 5 minutes until we get to the coin toss here in the middle of the field. We're not going to stick around the whole time and talk during that time, but we just wanted to kind of check in with everybody and hope that you guys are either listening or watching live. If you are wanting to watch live, you can go on Facebook and go to Chanute High School Facebook page. It should be streaming live there, or you can go on to YouTube. If you're wanting to pull it up on a TV or Roku, Apple TV somewhere, you can go to youtube.com and look up Chanute Blue Comets on YouTube. Go to their channel. We should be streaming live there as well. So like I said, we have a few minutes until we get to the coin toss, and we'll be right back. We'll go ahead and take another 2 minutes, and we'll be back to talk about more. Welcome back to Veterans Memorial Stadium here in Coffeyville, Kansas. Once again, my name's Caleb Wood. We have about 2.5 minutes until game times kind of starts here. We're going to talk about the teams a little bit. So, obviously, for Chanute High School, if you're listening or watching in, you know that High School Chanute has been struggling a little bit with their quarterback situation. We know that starting the season, we had Eric Erb starting as quarterback, as our junior quarterback there. He, very first game, got his collarbone broken in a freak accident on field, maybe just a hard tackle, not exactly sure. Crazy thing, Zach, obviously you weren't there. No, you were there, actually. You actually helped us out that stream.
Yeah, I was totally doing a lot of work while watching you guys do all the actual work. Yeah,
exactly.
It was very impressive. But yeah, the injury, any injuries in sports are unfortunate.
What's really odd about that, I actually got to talk to head coach Cleet Frizzell during the day afterwards, since I am a Chanute High School teacher myself. I was able to talk to Cleet Frizzell, and he said that he had actually broken it right before he went back out and threw a 30-yard bullet.
Oh my gosh!
Down the field. Didn't even realize it was broken at the moment. Just kind of felt it poking out a little bit, maybe adrenaline running. So that was kind of crazy. And then next we had Cam Custer in as backup quarterback against Independence High School. We had those 2 weeks where we had some quarantines happening on the football field, or sorry, on the football team rather. So we had Cam Custer out there. First couple plays of the game against Independence, and Cam has a shoulder dislocation. So dislocates his shoulder, gets it back in, doesn't feel good to play the rest of the game. In fact, I'm not 100% sure he won't be back the rest of the season. Next, we have our freshman quarterback, Caden Seamster. He came in for Independence, had a phenomenal game. As most of you guys remember, he went out, had 3 rushing touchdowns himself.
Whoa.
He had 3 passing touchdowns and over 250 passing yards as well as a freshman quarterback.
I should have had him on my fantasy team. I don't know what I was thinking.
I know. Then, obviously, again, as a Chanute fan, you should know that coming out against Fort Scott last week, Caden I almost said Cam. Caden was taken out of the game on a potential concussion issue against a no-call, helmet-to-helmet no-call. So now Chanute is on their 4th-string quarterback, and Garrett Allman, who is normally their tight end / wide receiver, plays a lot of defense as well. But as we saw a few times, Garrett still has the arm. He played backup or 3rd string a few years ago with some of our old quarterbacks and everything. And so next up, we're going to talk about Coffeyville a little bit. Zach, you know more about Coffeyville than I do, so take it away.
Technically, that is true. So it has been 10 years since I have, graced isn't the right word, plagued the halls of Phil Kindley High School. So, Coffeyville comes in with a 1-3 record. 2 of the games they would have played coming into this game were canceled because of quarantines and things like that. I think they missed out on an opportunity to play both Fort Scott and Independence. So a lot of comparisons you might make for the teams on who they have played are not available for this game. And Coffeyville comes in again with a 1-3 record. I was told that 2 of those losses are combined 13 points given up on kind of mental mistakes. So 13 points separates them from a 1-3 and 3-1 record. Yeah, absolutely. And which happens a lot in this league. And especially at this level. And so they come in with confidence that they should have a record that represents their talent, but also knowing that they have to work between not only the tackles, but between their ears and make sure that everything is on point and that they're focused and collected every single play. And both these high schools have a history, obviously in the same conference. They played many, many times. I wonder
very good football teams.
Yeah, and they know each other very well, so it's going to come down. They know what to expect. And this being only the 5th game of the year, usually a lot more experience has happened, but both teams are dealing with issues that will be interesting to see as we play the entire game.
All right, so it looks like Chanute's going to be kicking off the ball. Coffeyville will be receiving in the back with number 6, Tariq Logan, and I didn't catch the other number, whoever was out there.
Yeah, way up here on the 3rd floor, sometimes those numbers, even as big as they are on the jerseys, are a little tough to see. So if we're a little bit slow on that, just our old eyes are working on it.
A little bit of a pooch kick there by Chanute. Wrapped up by number 10, brought down once again. Very difficult to see from all the way up here, so we're not going to be able to give you numbers right away. Looks like Coffeyville will be taking it from the 34-yard line rather.
And you mentioned Tariq Logan. He's also a star basketball player for Phil Kindley. Played, was a multi-year varsity athlete. His relatives have come through varsity programs here at Phil Kindley, so he's an athlete with not only experience but also the lineage to prove that there's always an expectation for him to play well, and he's got a lot of pressure on him to play well. He's one of their main leading, I guess, yard gainers and also on defense main tacklers for this team.
Coffeyville with 2 backs in the backfield, 2 wide receivers, both out rather. Hikes the ball. Coffeyville right down the middle, gets stopped right there. Let's see, our quarterback for Coffeyville tonight is going to be Aaron Rutherford. He's 5'10". He's also a senior this year. Quarterback, he also plays defensive back on defense. Not that a whole lot of quarterbacks get much playing time on defense for safety reasons,
right,
as we all know.
Yeah, very few times. You mentioned Chanute's quarterback at Choosing,
exactly.
Who has 4 that can play. And to Chanute's coaching development, it's a testament that they're able to have 4 players that they feel comfortable with even being able to play that position. So, yeah, Rutherford, a good athlete. Again, comes from a family of good athletes.
Rutherford hands it off. Couple yards, gets stuck, sent back. It'll be 3rd and still about 6 yards till the first down for Coffeyville.
And that might be Ethan Camp, their main kind of running back, also another senior, kind of a veteran team. But on the skill positions, they're up front in the trenches, and it's now 3rd and about 6 or 7. That's where Coffeyville is it's kind of brave that they're running so much up the middle because they've given up a lot of size up there in the trenches. Only a couple players taller than 6 feet and only a few weigh more than 220 pounds.
Absolutely. Rutherford back up under center. Hands off down the middle again. Big hole open. Just
good
stopped
tackle.
short of the first down, maybe half a yard there.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be, it's a question for the coaching staff on whether you go for it on 4th, and I don't even know if that's 1. It might be 3/4 of a yard.
It might be just a few inches.
Yeah, it's not much, but they're faced with a dilemma here because that should have been a first down, but excellent open field tackling, and Chanute did a good job. There was a gap, and they closed it very quickly, and that saved them and stopped Coffeyville about 6 inches short.
So I can't remember if you mentioned it, but first-year head coach for the Coffeyville this year. We haven't quite gotten a name for him, not on the roster. But it looks like Coffeyville is going to go for it. Looks like they got a slot or tight end on the far left. Coffeyville tosses the ball, pitches it, gets the first down, and is finally brought down about 3 yards past the first down marker.
Well, and that, again, using speed on the outside, you would think I need a yard. Why not just go straight forward, a QB sneak, something like that, a fullback run up the middle. But again, when you don't know, you can't guarantee that you can outmuscle the other guys on the other side of the football. Why not get out in open space? Every football field are the same dimensions, but here up on the hill in Coffeyville, that field looks so wide and so large. There's a lot of green space out there, and so if you can put good athletes out on the perimeter, go one-on-one. Chanute hasn't missed any tackles yet, but that's what Coffeyville's trying to get.
That was James O'Connor on the first down there. Looks like Rutherford is in shotgun. Pulls back, has a few wide receivers, looking, scrambles, and pitches it, Patrick Mahomes style. Gets about 3 yards on the play there before finally brought down.
Rutherford was right at the almost a half step over that line of scrimmage. But again, much like Mahomes in the game against the Texans, I believe, kind of pitched it a little bit before the line of scrimmage, but his momentum carried him over, but did a good job of keeping his head up, looking for an open man, and that's almost like a basketball play. It wasn't scripted.
Absolutely. You don't see that much past the
well, you don't really want to because bad things happen.
Past the main line of scrimmage there.
Yeah, you really don't want to have those kind of plays, but a testament to the athletic ability of those players.
Rutherford in shotgun. Fakes the bubble. And it looks like Schnutz intercepts the ball. Bringing it down the field. Got a blocker in front of him. Coffeyville can't quite get him. Got him from behind. Looks like he is stopped shy of the touchdown. Will be about 3 yards short. That would be, I can't tell who that was for Chanute.
And I got to say, he had phenomenal hands and awareness to bring that interception down. It goes off the hands, the ball thrown a little bit behind Tariq Logan. That's where speed will get you into trouble when sometimes it's like you got to get the ball out quicker on those top-tier athletes. But a credit to Chanute's safety to bring the ball in. Betrayed by his Nikes, walking the tightrope down the sideline there, but gets the ball down to, I think, the 3-yard line. So they're knocking on the door right with about as good a field position as you could ask for. Great defense there for the Blue Comets.
Looks like that was Braxton Harding on the interception there. Great awareness. As we saw, Rutherford was trying to fake the bubble pass there and then found a receiver downfield who had the ball slip right through his hands, and Harding was right there ready for it and took it most of the way down the field. So Chanute's going to have the ball about the 3-yard line. First and goal. With 3 backs, it looks like.
Yeah, almost
Looks
like a full
Ty
house.
Leedy running into the end zone for the first touchdown of the night. Blue Comets.
One play, 6 points. That's pretty efficient.
Absolutely.
And really, going back to the interception, I want to talk about not only did the interception require a good amount of ball handling and running, but also good lead blockers to escort him all the way down to the 3-yard line. I mean, that play happened at about the 40 on the other side of the field, so a lot of yards there for Chanute and able to set up an easy first touchdown run.
For the field goal, extra point is up. And no signal. Can't really tell. Looks like there's a flag on the field. So it looks like that's probably going to be automatically. No, it's not going to be an automatic play. We're going to wait around and see what the referees say.
Yeah, Coffeyville jumped by about 2 in.
Coffeyville, penalty will be declined. The kick is good.
All right. So that will be an extra point for Chanute Blue Comets. We're going to go ahead and after that point, we're going to go ahead and take a 30-second break here before coming back. And we'll be right back here on KVX Fire Escape Radio and Comet Vision.
Food special is brought to you by Engine 1 Barbecue. They've got pulled pork sandwiches on sale for $3.
All right, and we're back here in Coffeyville, Kansas, as Chanute is going to kick off for the second time tonight. So once again, in the backfield, we have Tariq Logan and Darrell Jones receiving for Coffeyville. We'll see if Chanute even attempts to kick it all the way back there or if they're going to go ahead and pooch kick it one more time.
And giving up good field position didn't really hurt him last time.
Not at all. Another slight pooch kick. Still getting it back there to
I believe that's Logan.
Yeah, Tariq Logan. And he kind of dances around a little bit, goes back to the 10-yard line and makes his way back up to the 20. Not exactly sure what he was looking for, but it is what it is. It looks like Chanute's claiming they got the ball. I don't know if the ball was stripped on the field or not. Chanute's still out there claiming it's theirs, but the referee will deny that. So Coffeyville is going to, in fact, pick up the ball at the 21-yard line.
Yeah, it looked like he just kind of slipped into a tackle, and then probably as he's laying on the ground, the ball comes out late. That happens a lot, especially, again, on this turf. Sometimes somebody slips down earlier, quicker than they anticipated, and then they just want to get up off the ground, especially when you got a couple of guys laying on top of you, and the ball comes out a little too quick.
Chanute doing a great job of trying to sell the fumble there. You have about 6 or 7 kids there saying, it's our ball, it's our ball.
Oh, Chanute, vaunted thespian program.
Exactly.
We recruited hard here at CCC. We know they got some splendid stagecraft and actors
Have
there.
a few kids in drama here.
That's right.
Rutherford back in the shotgun one more time. Logan actually in motion there, going across the field. Handoff down the middle. Coffeyville's going to take it. Gets tripped up at the, looks like at the heels, and is going to be stopped at about the 23-yard line.
And other than the 4th down run that got them the first down of the game, every time Coffeyville has run the ball, especially up the middle, contact has happened before the line of scrimmage. So the Blue Comets dominating that line of scrimmage, the trenches as we call it. So
Absolutely.
Coffeyville trying to hope that their speed can break one to the outside. Getting to the corner is going to be very important for Field Kindley. And right now they haven't done a very good job of getting there, which is what they needed the pass for, which led to the interception, which led to a touchdown within 3 minutes for the Blue Comets.
From up here, it is actually very clear that Chanute High School, their linemen, just big size difference between Chanute and Coffeyville. Looks like Rutherford keeps the ball, runs up about an extra 5 yards, dances around the field. He's really good about running laterally down the field, but
Yeah, well, you got to get away from the big guys.
Yes.
And he's got the speed to do it there. Picks up about 5 on kind of just the RPO there. Just they had options, hand the ball off or take it. And he did a good job of making some progress. And Coffeyville trying to get a first down, trying to get some confidence. You don't at home want to get down by double-digit scores too early. In any context, you don't want to do that. But against a team that's methodical and can take care of the ball like the Blue Comets, you don't want to put yourself in that situation.
Exactly. Rutherford now under center. Got 2 backs, 3 receivers. Looks like there's a flag on the field. Looks like one receiver didn't actually quite get off the field. Looks like he was supposed to be, but didn't realize it and didn't quite make it off the field in time. So we're going to wait for the call from the official here in the white hat, talking with others.
And yeah, it's definitely a penalty on Coffeyville.
Too many men on the field.
And yet I don't see anybody has left yet.
No, who's actually what had happened was we had 2 wide receivers at the bottom side of our screen and 1 up top. The one at the closest to the sideline was supposed to be the one who ran off, supposed to run off, but didn't realize and didn't get off quite in time.
Well, both of us, we graduated with communication degrees, not just from Pitt State, but also our junior college affiliates. And communication is a very important skill to have, and even at small moments of just being able to add between 11 and 12 and know who's supposed to be on a field can come up, and that's a 10-yard penalty. So what was 3rd and 2 is now 3rd and 12 for Phil Kindley, and Chanute doing a good job of putting them in a situation they did not want to be in.
Attempts are lost. Looks like the referees are now, I'm not exactly sure. Looks like it was only supposed to be a 5-yard penalty rather than a 10-yard penalty. So they make the proper adjustments here.
Still 3rd and long.
Exactly, yes. So now 3rd and about 7 here. Rutherford still under center. 2 wide receivers, 2 backs. Hands off down the middle.
Oh, good tackle.
Wrapped up around the legs. Slew of Blue Comets.
Yep.
Surrounding him, being brought down. That was number 20, Ethan Camp.
Yeah, he didn't really have a chance. I mean, he was met, again, a couple yards behind the line of scrimmage, and there was a bevy of Blue Comets there to hold him down. And looks like to be even a loss of maybe half a yard there. So going to be 4th and 7. Coffeyville obviously going to punt here. And we're going to get to see what a normal series is from from on offense and defense from both teams.
Definitely not the most common series to start the game. Looks like we have Ty Leedy in the backfield to receive the punt. Last week he returned a kick return, which actually made #1 play in Kansas on Huddle.
Oh wow!
I saw that on Facebook this week. So that was
impressive.
That was impressive. So false start by Coffeyville just now. So
well, they're wanting to spot him a few more yards. And to talk about how impressive that is, so working at Coffeyville Community College, especially providing video for our athletic department, all of our football coaches today are out. They're scouting. I think we got a couple here. They're all across the state of Kansas. There is a lot of talent in the football level at all levels, 5A, 6A, down to 1 or 2A here in Kansas. And so for anybody to take #1 in a highlight, it's pretty impressive.
Another stop to the play. What does it look like? Looks like it's going to go against Coffeyville one more time. Another false start. 2 back-to-back false starts for the Golden Tornadoes. Not exactly sure what is going on here. It looks like it was a wide receiver that may have jumped this time. So now it's going to be 4th and about 15, maybe 16 yards until.
I don't think they're going to go for it.
Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, expert analysis there.
Very clean punt, actually. Ty Leedy fumbles the ball, actually, but another player jumps right on it. Looks like that was number 12, Caden Seamster, back in for the Blue Comets, who jumped on it. A little surprised that Caden's back in the game only a week after the possible concussion, but must not have been too bad with him playing tonight. Ty Leedy last week had the kick return. He's been doing very well on both the offensive and defensive side of things. Right there, he just had a little bit of a slip up with maybe feeling a little too many players around him. He was probably should have caught that, but instead he decided to try to catch it. And fortunately for Blue Comets, Seamster was there to hop right on it.
Yeah, it just takes good awareness from really the run blocker there, the runner, to get back in there and help his teammate out.
Garrett Allman now at quarterback.
And 2 running back to each of his sides. A little check with me.
Hands off to Riker Donovan down the middle.
Oh, good run.
Riker Donovan gets about 3 yards on the play. before being brought down by the Golden Tornadoes.
And there you get. I'm going to talk about it a lot because it's going to keep coming up. But their first point of contact was probably a yard or two after the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely.
So nice downhill run, and that's out of the shotgun. So it's not like he had a lot of momentum. The ball has to come to the quarterback before he can even touch it there. And yet they're able to create some space. And he did a good job kind of lowering his head. He knows on that play he's not going to run for a touchdown, but he got 3 yards, sets him up for a good 2nd and 7.
Allman in shotgun with a fake count. Looks at the sideline. Riker Donovan and Ty Leedy in the backfield with him. Hands off to Donovan down the middle again. Looks like Coffeyville hopped in the gap there a lot quicker than the last play. And Riker's going to be stopped right at the line, actually.
And this is going to be interesting going forward. Coffeyville's first drive ends with an interception that leads to an easy Chanute touchdown 1 play later. And here's Chanute on third-string quarterback, fourth-string quarterback. It's a kind of a juggle there, but either way, how often are these teams going to go to the air? How often are they going to risk a big play blowing this game open? Or is Chanute with a 7-0 lead in good field position on the 40-yard line on Phil Kindley's side? Are they going to risk it, or are they just going to keep pounding the ball down the field and just make Coffeyville try to jump a play to get back in this game?
Looks like Allman switched out for Seamster at quarterback now. Allman is going to be right. He's going to be playing a little bit of slot receiver now, but before the play actually started, looks like the Blue Comets are going to call a timeout, and we're actually going to go ahead and take that with them. We're going to take a minute-long timeout with the Blue Comets. Let me set my timer real quick, and we'll actually be right back. Thank you for listening to Blue Comet Sports here on KFVX Firescape Radio.
All right, 3rd and 7 for Chanute.
All right, we are back, and we just unfortunately missed a huge play. Caden Seamster on the hike on 3rd and 7, scrambles out to his right and bullets it downfield to Garrett Allman for the, I don't even remember where the play started, for the roughly 38-yard touchdown.
It was very close, and it was a strike of a throw, and a wonderful little toss there, tight spiral, hit him not only on the numbers, but in motion.
In stride,
exactly,
absolutely.
which is how he is able to use that speed to break to the outside, wasn't betrayed by the sideline, and able to get into the end zone. And now quickly, a 2-score lead for the Blue Comets.
Absolutely. And, you talked about it earlier. As Chanute kicks the extra point, we're going to stay right here. But you talked about earlier how their scouts are, smaller community college football coaches out here scouting. Garrett Allman is going to be one of those players that they're going to be scouting. He's a senior this year. He's played wide receiver for a few years. He can throw the ball, as we've seen in weeks past, and he's just an all-around great player. He plays a little bit of outside linebacker, maybe also gets thrown in at defensive end some because he's a big body, he's the one that a lot of people are going to be looking at because he's deceptively fast. He's not afraid of contact, and he's got great hands. And as we saw there, he knows how to catch the ball, turn, and run with it right away. Very Travis Kelce-esque.
Well, and there's a big push really this year going forward to capitalize on homegrown kids, on Kansas athletes, to go find those diamonds in the rough, go to places that you can bring in and develop and then move on to the next level and be proud of. And so there, with Independence Community College here in Montgomery County, CCC, Fort Scott up the road, there's a lot of Southeast Kansas schools that are going to be looking for those type of athletes that are committed to the game and committed to the work of the game that they can develop and they know are going to come up and show up every time they put on that helmet.
Jones and Logan in the backfield once more to receive the kickoff. Another pooch kick for Chanute. A little bobble there by Coffeyville. Sneaks through. That is Amir Luton on the reception. And he gets brought down roughly the 38-yard line. Sorry, 40. Excuse me, 33-yard line, 34-yard line.
Numbers can be deceptive.
Yes.
Well, and there,
even
jerseys can be deceptive because he kind of took the ball away from a teammate there. It was kind of it was kind of a there's the high-flying ball to two different people. He goes up, takes it off, drops it off the bounce, picks it up off the turf, and makes a couple of people miss, gain some yards. Coffeyville looking for any kind of momentum here. Chanute dominating this game. Chanute's really only had the ball for what? 7-8 plays at most, and two scores. We're at just under 4 to go left in this first quarter, and it's been a quickly played game, and Chanute dominating here early. So Phil Kindley trying to do anything. A first down is a win morally for that sideline.
Rutherford back under center, one back, pitches it to his right, gets brought down about 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Very easily brought down by number 64 for Chanute. That was Tucker Davis.
Well, and that was a team play for Chanute because that was a play designed to get speed on the outside, and he didn't have anywhere to go. The wall was sealed up. The outside linebacker was unable to make the tackle for the stat book, but he did a great job of forcing action inside where the big guys were waiting, and as soon as they get your hands on you, I don't care how fast you are, you ain't outrunning those grizzly bears and their mitts.
Exactly. Rutherford back in shotgun now. We've got a tight end, a slot, two receivers there. Logan looks like he's in motion there. Another pitch out to Logan. He gets it, cuts up field, gets brought down right at the line of scrimmage. Doesn't look like he's going anywhere.
No, and they might have got back there. It might be a loss of a half of a yard, and that's something where just watching that play. So again, it's your best athletes in motion. You're trying to get speed out away from jerseys. And to Coffeyville's credit, they had a block on, it looked like the cornerback in space, but unfortunately it was a double team block on the skinniest guy on Chanute's defense, and they left two of the bigger middle linebackers wide open, and again, Logan was forced to cut it back up inside, and he's taken down by a host of Blue Comets.
One of them being Garrett Allman, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, again,
outside linebacker.
Junior college is always looking for talent of guys who can do multiple things.
Rutherford fakes the pass, takes it up down the middle, and he fumbles the ball. And it looks like Chanute's going to recover it at the 33-yard line.
Well, and that's there. I think he took his eyes up the field. He made a couple guys miss. Did a good job. Almost was back to the original line of scrimmage there, and it looked like the ball might have slipped out of his hands. Maybe he got poked out.
It looks like he was still holding it with both hands, and somebody grabbed onto his arm, and just one hand slipped off, causing the football to fall out.
And in that situation, he was in open space. You're not thinking of immediately getting hit, and so it's something where you're almost taken by surprise. And he was in a sea. He was an island amongst a sea of Blue Comets. So when the ball comes out, odds are they're going to jump on it, and that's exactly what happened. They've now got the ball at, again, about the 33-yard line, and they're looking to. They've been on this side of the field the majority of this game so far, and they're looking to increase their lead.
That was Garrett Allman on the fumble recovery. Caden Seamster in shotgun, hands off to Riker Donovan down the middle, bumps off of one of the defensive linemen, gains absolutely nothing. It's going to be second down and 10 still for the Blue Comets.
And that's all right. Sometimes you got to not every play needs to score. And that's something where, as a basketball guy, obviously you think every time down the court, something good needs to happen.
Yeah.
But in football, a gain of 0 yards, if you just commit to a certain style of play, football is a long game, and it is a hard and physical game. And sometimes, especially when you have the size advantage up front and the tenacity up front that Chanute has, you're able to wear the other team down.
Well, and what we saw from Riker Donovan there, one of Chanute's fullbacks, is over the last couple of weeks, it's taken him about a quarter and a half to really get into the physicality of the game. And, that's kind of his time to test the water, see how physical people are playing. And we should expect to see him trying to run over people halfway through the second quarter here. Looks like Chanute is taking their time. The referees are taking their time setting the ball, rather. Chanute finally breaking their huddle. Seemed like we talked forever there before this play. Seamster back at quarterback.
Yeah, everybody at home's wishing Chanute would hurry up and play.
The freshman quarterback here, Riker Donovan right next to him. Hands off again down the middle. Riker with about 3 yards on the play. Brought down at the 30.
Yeah, bringing up third and long. Again, a simple straight handoff there, but they had, I think, a couple of wide receivers to the bottom of the field there, so trying to spread Coffeyville out.
Yeah.
Again, when you're bigger than, if it's one-on-one and you're bigger than the other player, and it's in the trenches, you have a good chance of just falling forward for a couple extra yards. Whereas Coffeyville is trying to create space when they get the ball out on the outside and let speed be their advantage.
Schnute, 3rd and about 7. Seamster with the snap. Passes it way over the head of Dagan Dean over there against the far sideline. Probably about a foot over his head, unfortunately.
And good coverage there on the outside. It was a jump ball, and really you want to miss high. You don't want to miss low, because that's when either it ricochets off of somebody's hands. Now, Coffeyville missed high on that first drive, and it ended up an interception. But most of those stop-and-go routes, especially on the stop, if you miss high, the ball goes out of bounds, and now it's 4th and about 7, and it looks like they're going to go for it.
Yeah, Chanute's going for it. Like you said, 4th and 7. Seamster and Donovan in the back. Few receivers out on the field, full 4 out. And Seamster gets brought down on the turnover at about the 32-yard line.
So with a fumble and then a turnover on downs back and forth, the ball moved about 3 yards.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that, Cleve Frizzell, that's something that he was willing to do. He's up 14 right now. I don't know if he's kind of feeling himself a little bit or not, but you just got to kind of test the waters with different plays. Right now Chanute's been running a lot.
Yep.
They haven't really tried too many passes. The ones that they have obviously have been very successful. They're wanting to, I'm sure they're going to want to keep Caden Seamster kind of safe with
well protected.
him having the injury last week. Rutherford under center one more time, hands it off down the middle to the running back, cuts out to the outside, gets brought down by Dagan Dean.
Yeah, it made one guy miss, didn't make them all miss, but a positive yardage there for Coffeyville. Not
3 yards.
That happens on a regular basis. Looks like they're going to have one more play this quarter before they head into the second. And going for it, really, in high school athletics, when you don't have a kicker, most high schools don't, that can kick a long way. 4th and 7 from the 30 is not a bad move. Chanute, with a 14-point lead, can take those type of chances.
Coffeyville back under center. Hikes the ball, passes it to an oblivious receiver out on the sideline. That was number 23, Ethan Vietz. Didn't even see the ball coming, ran out to block and didn't even know it was a passing play. Thought it was a running play. He's getting pulled from the game. And is very confused at the moment.
Well, and he's not the only one. There's a lot of communication that needs to go into every play. And when you miss 2 games, you miss 2 weeks of practice, you miss 2 opportunities to get on the field and play, that's going to happen more often. It shouldn't happen in late October, mid-October, but it will this weird season.
Coffeyville is fumbling the ball. It was a sideward. It was a pass out to a wide receiver right at the line of scrimmage, but he drops it, which is technically a fumble if it's not a forward pass.
Yeah, technically that was a run attempt, even because it was a lateral. The ball went backwards, which is why it's a good thing he didn't think it was an interception. Good heads-up play. I know he lost a lot of yards on that, but it's a good job of at least picking it up and not thinking, oh, the ball dropped, it's over. Good job of getting back there, and now it allows his team to punt instead of giving Chanute excellent field position.
4th and 16. They're going to let the clock run out. That's going to be the end of the first quarter, and we're going to go ahead and take a minute-long break here. We'll be right back here with Comet Vision and Coffee House radio station here on KFVX. All right, and we are back here at Veterans Memorial Stadium here in Coffeyville, Kansas. If you're listening to KFVX radio station, welcome in. If you're listening or watching online, rather, glad you can join us for the game. Coffeyville is going to be punting. It's about 4th and 16 now on their side of the field. And the punter gets it off a really good punt here. It looks like, once again, Ty Leedy goes to fair catch it, but drops the ball. Fortunately, he jumps right on the ball, but not before he is hit by quite a few Coffeyville Golden Tornadoes there.
And that's the second time Chanute has dropped a punt, and that's also with Coffeyville having a couple of fumbles there. Maybe the footballs are a little bit slick.
We need to get those tested.
Yeah, where's Tom Brady? And so and that's something where it's not raining, it's not slick outside, it's not even that cold. So I don't know. It's something
Vaseline
where
gate.
maybe. Yeah, that's right. Are we sponsored?
I don't know.
So it's something where maybe nerves. It's one of the last games of the year for these guys. You would think they'd be calm by now, but I've mentioned that this being the year of COVID, not as many opportunities to work on those type of fundamentals.
Seamster in the shotgun, hands it off to Riker Donovan again. Gets a couple yards there on the run. It looks like he's going to be stopped at about the 41-yard line.
Did a good job of falling forward, kind of rolling forward. It doesn't sound like a lot, but when you got to get 10 yards and you can get one extra early, it sets up, instead of a 2nd and 9, now it's a 2nd and 8.
Yeah.
If they do well here,
progress is progress.
It sets up a 3rd and short. That sounds really good from you as a teacher. And so, if you can set up a 3rd and short or get a first down here, you're setting yourself up. It's to start this second quarter. Chanute needs to look. If you can get to a 17 or 21-point lead, it'll look really good going the rest of the way.
Seamster hands off to Ty Leedy, and he gets brought down just 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage with a loss of yards there. Ty Leedy struggling so far first part of this game. He's dropped 2 punt returns. Technically, I think at this point it's probably a mental game. He's just got to get right through.
And that happens. And I don't pretend to know what it's like to be somebody who's athletic. But Coffeyville doing actually a pretty good job. They've given up 2 touchdowns on defense, but actually really only one of them that strike of a pass that was a beautiful play for the Blue Comets for the 2nd touchdown. Otherwise, their defense has looked pretty solid.
Looks like we got trips right for the Blue Comets, one up top. Seamster in shotgun again, hikes the ball.
Bringing a blitz.
Looks at Ty Leedy at the far side and slips right through his hands. It's going to be about 4th and 9 for the Blue Comets. They're going to go ahead and punt the ball.
And I think this is the first punt for Chanute, I believe, this game. And they're eerily similar to the interception that kind of opened up this game from Phil Kindley's side, where a receiver is a crossing route going over the middle. The ball is thrown high off their hands, not quite on target, but decently within their catch radius. Ball goes off the hands. This incomplete, and now Chanute gets to punt.
Tyson Lucas punts the ball. Goes about 35 yards, and it will roll to about the 27-yard line.
Good punt.
Where the Coffeyville Golden Tornadoes will go ahead and pick up the ball there. Zach, let's just talk a little bit about what does Coffeyville really need to start doing to, kind of get out of their block of fumbling the ball or, running backfield. Like, I know those sound like very simple fixes.
Yeah.
But what do they need? Where do they need to start?
Yeah, go forward good. No, they here's the thing. Like, they really it sounds painful, but you just one good play at a time.
Yeah.
And so they've tried different things to their credit. That last series, they ran a bubble screen, and the ball just wasn't able to be used in a way to gain them positive yards. But they're trying different things. Those players, those young guys, just need to see the ball go forward at a good clip one time.
Rutherford hands the ball off. Running back gets tackled about a yard behind the line of scrimmage there. That's going to be number 5, Amani Luton. Looks like there's another Luton there. You got Amani and Amir both on the field. But that
Making
was
plays?
What's that?
Both making plays?
Yeah, absolutely. It's awesome to have a family gathering out here tonight for football. Looks like Coffeyville again is going to be back about a yard, so it's going to be 2nd and 11 here.
Yeah, again, he made a guy miss, but a great gang tackling out in open space from the Blue Comets.
Coffeyville hikes the ball, goes towards the near side of the field, and runs right into a Blue Comet. That's going to be Garrett Allman on the tackle there. Runs right into his chest plate.
Yeah, and that's Tariq Logan having the speed advantage, but using it to go inside and trying to play the psychological game there. Because if you're a defender, your whole goal is to send somebody inside. So if somebody actually willingly does what you want to do, sometimes that stops your feet because your brain is trying to calculate, oh, they're doing what they normally don't do. They want to, those fast guys want to break it to the outside. And there, actually, really, Logan should have done what everybody would have expected him to do, which is break it to the outside. What Coffeyville looks to be what they're trying to do there and trying to break it outside is they're wanting to score too quickly. And again, there's a lot of time left in this ball game. If you pick up 8-9 yards, you don't have to get the first down. You just need to move the ball forward and set yourself up to get the first down on the next play.
3rd and 10, Rutherford in shotgun. Play call is stopped by the officials here. Looks like there could have been a false start on the play by Coffeyville. It's going to be about a 5-yard penalty here. And now it's going to, instead of 3rd and 10, it's going to be 3rd and 15.
Yeah, doing themselves no favors there. And I believe that's the 5th flag on field, Kindley. None for Chanute.
If not more, because they had those 2 false starts on the punt in the first quarter here. And it looks like penalties are against Coffeyville tonight.
And they haven't been the typical what you'd think from football, which would be holding, which would be roughing, on being extra physical on tackles.
It's a little too anxious.
It's the angst, yeah.
Rutherford looking for a pass.
Oh.
Passes it over right through the hands of the defender of Garrett Allman, and looks like that was number 28. Maybe not 28. I can't see numbers from up here. 88, rather. That was Devin Reeves. Looks like Coffeyville's going to settle for a 4th and 15.
And that was a fantastic break on the ball there. Breaking it up. Almost had a chance at an interception, but read the quarterback's eyes, breaking downfield. 2 hands on the ball, able to knock it loose. That was fantastic.
As an outside linebacker, you have that little strip there out to the side of the field that you just have to cover, and he was right there. Coffeyville punts the ball.
Oh, good block.
Very good punt as well. And Chanute's just going to let it roll down to the 32-yard line, where they're going to pick it up here in just about a minute.
Yeah, good punt. Chanute, really the worst field position they've had all game.
Absolutely. We'll see if Chanute can make strides here with about 8:22 left here in the second quarter. Chanute's been doing good so far. This last series that they had, they went 3 and out and had to eventually punt, which, again, like you said, was their first punt of the game. Let's see if Chanute has to do the same here.
Well, and it's something where being up 14-0 and Coffeyville struggling to get a first down here for the last couple of series, you're able to say, okay, we're going to try some conservative runs or some conservative play calling in the first couple of plays, and if we get a first down or 2, great. If not, we can go deep on 3rd down, and then we can punt. If you burn up a few minutes, that's all right.
Seamster to Donovan down the middle with about a gain of about 3. And, like you said, Zach, Chanute's being conservative by running a lot, because I think they understand the speed that Coffeyville has in the backfield, and not really wanting to risk all those passes, knowing that Coffeyville has the talent to be able to make those breaks and break up passes like that.
That's something that's kind of stressful, where okay, we are 3 seconds away from giving up a crazy play that gets them back in the game. So you got to be locked in and focused the entire game.
Seamster hands off
good tackle.
I guess I missed the handoff there. It looks like it was Tyledy one more time. And he gets about a half a yard there, but now it's still going to be 3rd and about 7 for the Blue Comets. Coffeyville not giving much ground there, knowing that Chanute's been running a lot. Maybe here with 3rd down, it's the most common down to pass, obviously.
Yeah. Right, and now you're faced with it. Do you try another run just to burn another minute and a half off the clock? It's down to 6 minutes. You're halfway through the second quarter, still with a double-digit lead, or do you try to go for it, get that first down, and keep moving the chains?
Allman out at a tight end. Seamster gets the ball, passes it to Allman out by the sideline. Allman stops, slips a little bit, but makes it to about the 40-yard line, where he will be stopped just shy of the first down.
Yeah, it was a good pass, good open field tackle, really a gang tackle there from 2 different defenders, and they were able to shut him down, and it looks like Chanute is going to have to punt for the 2nd straight series.
Looks like they're actually going to go for it, Zach. Good awareness.
Oh, yeah, I don't pay attention. What's going on?
Seamster under center. Waiting to see. Everybody's looking at the sideline for the call. Here,
well, yeah,
we got Riker Donovan in the backfield.
They're trying to get Coffeyville to jump there, and they're going to wait as long as they can and then make the best call that they want. And if not, they can take a timeout and then punt the ball away.
Looks like they're going to run down the clock a little bit before calling a timeout. Coffeyville did a great job of self-control there and not jumping on that.
Yeah.
timeout, Chanute. That'll be
Yeah, going in out of this timeout now, they've got a chance. They can either try to go for it again with a 4th and a long 2, or they can punt it away, like I said the first time, and prove me right.
All right, we got a timeout by Chanute. We're going to go ahead and take a minute-long break here. We'll be right back here on KPX Fire Escape Radio.
All right, Nana fans, make some noise. It's 4th down. Trigo set to receive the punt.
And we're back. It looks like Chanute's electing to punt rather, and they get it off a
good
nice
punt.
spiral there for the punter. And it looks like Coffeyville's going to be running downfield. That's Logan one more time. Gets about 10, 15 yards on that return, maybe even 20 yards there. He's going to be pushed out about the Chanute 47-yard line. Sorry, I take that back, 49-yard line.
Yeah, best play for Coffeyville this game so far, and that's something that you think about when you are electing to punt, because it's because really had they gone for it, Coffeyville and not gotten it, Coffeyville might have had this about the same position that they had, but there Coffeyville gets a little bit of life, a big play, and you just don't know. There's always that chance with the speed that Coffeyville brings to the field. Man, they might just break this one and put us in a situation where we have to play a little more aggressive than we want to.
Rutherford in shotgun.
Timeout, Chanute. That'll be
Chanute's going to call a timeout, oddly enough, on defense. With 6 minutes left here in the first half, we're going to go ahead and take one more break. It's going to be a minute long. We'll be right back here on KFEX Fire Escape Radio and Comet Vision.
First and 10, Coffeyville from the 49.
And we're back. Looks like Coffeyville's going to be taking first and 10 at the Chanute 49-yard line. Rutherford takes the snap and shotgun, hands it off down the middle, and he's going to get about 4 yards on the play there.
A good positive yardage there for Ethan Camp, the senior running back for Phil Kindley. And that's the first time that I've clocked this game that Phil Kindley has had a running attempt where the action happened after the line of scrimmage. So he was able to get clean looks, good downfield blocking that was out of shotgun, and able to make something happen. Again, only a 4-yard gain, but something positive. 2 good plays for Phil Kindley, who has struggled to move the ball forward this whole first half.
Absolutely. Phil Kindley with a head of steam from that decent punt return here. Rutherford pitches it to the right. Camp one more time dodges a block here and gets a open field as Caden Seamster chases him down, and he gets pushed out of bounds by number 2. Let me grab that name real quick. Dagan Dean just catches him about the 2-yard line right before the end zone and pushes him out of bounds.
Yeah, he just really shoved him to the turf, which you would think like you're trying to help him to the end zone, but there knocked him off balance. A great run there by Camp to really cut it back. He made a guy miss at the line of scrimmage. That play should have been stopped dead in its tracks, able to bounce it back, used a wall of linemen to lead him on to open turf, and there now at the 2-yard line is Phil Kindley.
Rutherford hands off to Camp one more time. He gets stopped at the line of scrimmage there. going right down the middle. Camp, once again, with a head of steam. Coffeyville's making some great ground this series.
He's got live feet, and there's some excitement there. If they can get, they got to the one, so about probably half of a yard of gain there. So they've got it. They're knocking on the door, and I don't know if Phil Kindley's got a good kicker on their team, but to be honest, I think it's 4 down territory here. You got 1 yard to go. Yeah. You part a yard and a half.
You might as well go for it.
You got to get the 6. You got to get 6. You got to get some life on your sideline and close the gap to this Blue Comets team.
Rutherford and Camp in the backfield hikes the ball. We got a man in motion.
Oh,
he
wow.
gets brought down about 8 yards.
That was
back.
blown up.
Blown up by the Blue Comets there at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And it's hard to tell who that was. We had about 3 Blue Comets there on the tackle.
I was going to say, if the first guy didn't get him, the second, third, maybe fourth guy would have.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get some open space, and you go from a 2nd and goal from the 1.5 now it's 3rd and goal from about the 10-yard line, maybe closer to the 11. And so that is the exact opposite of what they wanted to have happen.
That was Jones on the run, and as soon as he got the ball pitched to him, he just saw a slew of Blue Comets coming after him, and the only place he could go was back.
Yeah, the blocking on the outside, not there for him. I mean, he kind of just had to eat turf.
Rutherford with a snap. Camp with the ball one more time, gets brought down just shy of the end zone, probably about the half-yard line.
Yeah, it's very close. If he were 6'1", he would have made it in there. But he did doing a good job of kind of gaining all the ground lost there. And now it's 4th and 1. Looks like Phil Kindley is going to be taking a timeout to think it over, or they could just listen to the live stream and take my advice and just go for it.
Absolutely. I mean, at this point, their coach is probably down there saying, we have to go for this. There's no reason. We got 3.5 minutes till halftime.
Yep.
There's no reason that we can't run this ball 1 yard into the end zone and put some points on the board.
Well, and you're probably not going to get the ball back, even with 2 timeouts left, to be able to do anything with it, so unless you make another huge play, which to this point has not been a guarantee whatsoever. So this is probably Coffeyville's best and only chance to put points on the board this half, and you got to go for broke. 6 versus 3. If you get 6, maybe 7 with the extra point, now you're down 1 score going at halftime. Your locker room's a little more alive. If you don't get it, hey, I mean, you at least go for it. And it looks like they're going to do exactly that. They've got 2 wide receivers to the bottom, 2 to the top, so they're trying to spread Chanute out, hoping to get one-on-one matchups. They need half a yard.
You can definitely expect Chanute to blow up the middle there. They got 2 middle linebackers getting ready to blow up the middle.
Yeah, it looks like a blitz.
Looks like Rutherford's just going to jump it, and he's going to make it into the end zone. That's going to be 6 for the Golden Tornadoes.
And there he didn't go exactly straight forward, kind of waited a half second, went off the right tackle to try to be able to not only turn his feet for some momentum, but able to dive forward and away from those linebackers, which you called out were running right up the middle.
And that was really smart of Aaron Rutherford because, like you said, he waited a good second, and he saw where those linebackers were coming. Those linebackers didn't wait. They came right away, right on the snap, and he saw that open gap just there to the right of his lineman, and he went for it, and obviously it pays out for the for the Golden Tornadoes.
Yeah, doing their damage on the ground there and able to put points on the board for the first time this game.
Ethan Viets for the extra point, and that's going to be good for the Golden Tornadoes. Pardon me, that wasn't Ethan Viets, that was William Stocksbury. So now we have 14-7. Blue Comets are still ahead here with about 3.5 minutes left in the first half. We're going to go ahead and take another minute-long break. You're listening to Zach and Caleb here on KFEX Firescape Radio and Comet Vision.
All right, NATO family, get up on your feet. It's time for the kickoff. Will Stonesbury set to boot it away.
And we're back. Coffeyville's about to kick off. Zach, what do you think our celebrity name would be?
Oh, it's not anything we might have possibly talked about during that timeout. But celebrities are very focused on the job they have to do. And right now, I'm going to take a page out of their book and be very focused on this last 3 minutes and 27 seconds as Phil Kindley kicks the ball off.
Cack. That's what it would be.
No, that's not.
All right. Chanute gets the ball roughly around the 36-yard line. Apologies for all that unprofessionalism. So Chanute's going to get the ball. They didn't get really many yards after the catch there, so they're going to just take it once again there at the 36-yard line, their own side of the field.
Well, yeah, and they're faced with it's football, right? You want to just get as many yards as you can, punch it forward, try to get a first down. You can get way too into the psychological, moral victory stuff and just go, hey, we just need to make a big play here. We need to make a good play. You've got no timeouts for the Blue Comets, but with just under 3.5 minutes left, they've got plenty of time to punch it down the field and put more points on the board.
Seamster hands it off to
look out.
Blue Comet there, and he gets about 9 yards on the play before getting brought down there, and that looks like it was number 20, Raleigh Chard.
And that was a good spot from the official there because he kind of almost slid down, but his forward momentum would have taken him past. Oh no, they're going to mark it it's going to be 2nd and 1 there. I thought they should have gave him the first down, but they're going to mark him a little bit short. I retract my praise for the officials down there.
I actually have Raleigh Chard as a student in class, and one thing that we have talked about over the weeks is he needs to learn to turn it upfield a little more, and we just saw it right there that he's known to dance around a little bit around the line of scrimmage, but obviously he found an opening and he took it. He's a very fast kid as well, deceptively.
A 9-yard run is a good one, and they're breaking it through, so it's going to be another first down for the Chanute Blue Comets, and I just want to focus on the excellent job, not on the football game that Chanute's providing, but the amount of dancing conversations that they have in broadcasting class at the high school, because that is something that as a broadcasting teacher at the collegiate level at junior college I don't do enough of. And so I'm going to try to, again, we're talking about being professional, we're talking about moving forward. They're moving the ball forward. Chanute now with 1st and 10 with 2:19 to go in the half. I'm going to try to look forward and implement new teaching strategies in my classroom.
Listen, if you know me, you know that Caleb and professionalism does not go together. DJ, I know you're listening right now. I know you're at the station. You're listening. You can agree. All right, Caden Seamster with the snap, and he takes it himself down the middle. With a gain of about 6 to 7 yards there. And
they're doing it on the ground, so the clock is continuing to run. We're under the 2-minute mark, and Coffeyville giving up several yards per run here. So 2nd and 4, the clock continues to tick, and Chanute now has to be thinking, okay, how many they need another 46 yards to get a touchdown, and there's a player down on the field, so the clock is going to stop. 1:41 left in this half, and there's going to be a break to check in on this player.
It looks like he's just going to be cramping a little bit, so we're going to go ahead and take a quick break with him because I've ran out of things to say. So we'll be back in about a minute here we're going to take about a 30-second break instead here on KFEX Firescape Radio and Comet Vision. All right, and we are back here in Coffeyville. We're waiting for a player to get up off the field here over on the Chanute sideline, rather. Looks like they are fine. Looks like they're up and going. They didn't actually bring anybody off. Again, Zach and I talked about, there's been a lot of cramping going on this team. They need to drink more water.
I'm a big fan. Dasani, Propel. Are they gonna?
Propel.
No. In Coffeyville, it's Propel.
All right. Looks like
looking for sponsors.
Looks like Garrett Ullman in the Wildcat. And he's
nice.
going to take it. Gets a first down there. And like I said, his deceptive speed, he gets about 15 yards off of that run, and it will be brought down on the Coffeyville 29-yard line.
And right now the guys moving the sticks. Chanute's kind of hoping they take their time so they can set up and get another play. 78 seconds to go in this half, and Chanute within 30 yards of that end zone.
Absolutely, and Chanute's doing a great job of pacing themselves, getting enough time off the clock here, and but at the same time, as we can see, if you're watching the live stream, rushing up to the line.
And it looks like another
Garrett
Wildcat.
Allman, another Wildcat, hands it off rather to Riker Donovan. He gets brought back about 3-4 yards from the line of scrimmage. No, I take that back. It's about 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, and he is mad.
Yeah, he popped up hot, and also kind of was a few seconds late getting the ball to the officials, who's now setting it down on the field. So now we're under a minute to go, under 50 to go, and it looks like that might have been the play that saved Coffeyville some points there.
Absolutely. Blue Comets back up to the line. 2 backs in the backfield. Looks like Seamster's going to be back at quarterback. Takes the hike. And he steps up in the pocket, runs out again, dodges a few players, but gets brought back down just about 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
More loss for the Blue Comets.
And that'll be the last play of this half there. He made a couple of guys miss. Coffeyville sent the heat, was hoping that one-on-one coverage down the field would be enough to get his eyes off the receivers and onto the linemen and linebackers coming for him. And it was enough. They moved him back, and that is going to be it. It looks like Chanute's going to go into the locker room with a 7-point lead.
Blue Comets 3rd and 16 here.
Oh,
waiting
going
for
for
a
it.
wild play here, and they're going to get brought down to in the half. That's Garrett Allman there back at quarterback, was looking for the pass, and he's going to stay there for a little bit. Slow to get up and slow to the locker room. So to end the half here, we're ending the half 14-7 rather. Blue Comets are ahead of the Coffeyville Golden Tornadoes. And Zach, let's just talk a little bit before we send everybody to break for about 10 minutes or so. Let's just talk a little bit about what are our teams doing right here. What are some of these plays that we've seen here recently that both Chanute and Coffeyville can benefit from continuing to do in the second half?
Well, let's start with the team in the lead. Chanute has gone cold a little bit in the second half. I actually like what they did on that last drive. Really, the clock did them wrong more than I know. The last couple of plays they lost yardage, but that was they were more of a victim of their predicament, not necessarily that they played bad. They've done a good job of moving the ball. Really, they just need to break a couple of plays together, and it's a big field. I know every football field is 100 yards long, but it just looks so much more. You have to put so much more work in to get the distance. They just got to see the ball move. They got to move the chains a couple of times, which they did that last series. Again, really, if you're a Coffeyville fan, you're thinking, well, it really should be a tie ball game because they were able to score a touchdown with an interception at the very beginning of the game type of thing. But Chanute's been playing really well. A couple of fumbles here or there, it doesn't bother me a whole lot. They should actually feel very confident going in. Coffeyville, on the other hand, has to just ignore everything that happened except for that final drive.
Yeah.
Just have a short memory and just go for it and be confident and say, hey, we can score, we can move the ball. That means we can have success. We can be back in this ball game.
Absolutely, and I agree. Chanute's done a great job over, the last several decades with having quite the arsenal of plays that they're going into, and really just having that, the multitude of athletes that can run those different positions. As we saw there, we have Caden Seamster who can, throw the ball really well. We also have Garrett Allman who, again, 4th-string quarterback who is, as we saw here in the Wildcat, a great runner. He can run, he can catch the ball, he can do just about anything. Great on defense as well. And Chanute has all sorts of different plays that throw teams off. These high school teams, these are kind of arsenal of plays that you would see at a college level. Whereas with Coffeyville, again, I think one thing that they can benefit from in the second half is, like you said, what they did in the last series there before they scored here in the second quarter is taking their time and really not only I don't know how to explain it. It's a good combination between taking your time but also pushing the ball up the field while thinking at the same time.
Yeah, Coffeyville just needs to.
I said that very poorly.
Yeah, they need to do football good. No, they look at their biggest success was especially getting Ethan Camp the ball on that last drive. So he needs more touches, just like I think Altman needs to touch the ball every other play for Chanute going forward. Yeah. We talked about cramping. We've talked about how players have missed time this season. So conditioning is not at the level it normally would be at middle of October. But if he's going to be the guy that's going to bring you home, you might as well just go for him.
Yeah.
And so Ethan Camp probably needs to be the same way. Now, obviously, as a running back for Coffeyville, he's got to worry about all those big guys that Chanute has on that defensive line. So Coffeyville's got to be a little more creative. They're at a disadvantage. Just put it out there.
Use their speed.
They're 1-3. Chanute's 2-2. They're at a disadvantage on that front. However, we've seen the line for Coffeyville, both on offense and defense, have moments where they were able to seal up and get their guys some space, and on defense able to lock down and make some big plays on that last drive, especially those last 2 plays. They hit them in the backfield. They did a good job. And so, really, it's just, if I'm Coffeyville, I'm looking at Tariq Logan has been very quiet. He had a nice punt return that gave him some juice, and so that's something where they've struggled to get him the ball, and obviously Chanute's keen on him. So it's really Coffeyville needs to, if they go to camp and they can get some success there, Chanute's going to have to move focus away from Logan, who's probably the biggest play athlete that Coffeyville has, and that's really what I would focus on. No guarantee that works, obviously. That's why I'm up in the booth, and that's why I'm not on the sideline. But Chanute, again, they gave up a touchdown late, and then they weren't able to capitalize going down on that last drive. But they're still up a whole touchdown, and there's only been 21 points scored combined between the 2 teams, so they're sitting pretty well.
Absolutely. A multitude of athletes giving us a great performance tonight on your classic Friday Night Football. We're going to go ahead and go into our station ID, and then to follow that, we're going to just go into about a 10 to 15-minute break, and we'll be right back here before the end of halftime. Thank you for listening to KFEX Firescape Radio and Comet Vision. We'll see you before the second half.
Funky Town, that's the way I like it, and Treasure by Bruno Mars. And that was your NATO marching band, ladies and gentlemen. What a funky good time.
All right, and we are back here at Coffeyville. That's it.
Love the enthusiasm. Love the enthusiasm.
We're back here at Veteran Memorial Stadium here in Coffeyville, Kansas. Zach, I just had to give you a little bit of a hard time. We had a wonderful first half together, and I miss these days.
Thanks,
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's
Sorry,
always
I
good
was
to
talking
reconnect.
to Dyson, not you.
No,
I'm just
I
kidding.
know. I miss not being appreciated. It's great.
Yeah, so the good old days.
Yeah.
Coffeyville's about to kick off. Schnute has some receivers in the backfield. We have Ty Leedy, and it looks like that's Raleigh Char. There he goes. Like I said, he's got some speed behind him, but it gets stuck by some Coffeyville players there. Raleigh gets brought down at about the 34-yard line on their side of the field.
He was an arm tackle away from putting points up on that scoreboard, and which is unfortunate for Chanute, but you like to see that coming out of halftime. There's a little pep in his step, a little pop in the cleats, and five seconds into the second half, and Chanute's going to try to increase their lead, score for the first time since the first quarter.
A little fun fact about Raleigh Chard. He holds the Royster Middle School, which is the Chanute Middle School.
That's right. Yeah.
Royster Middle School track and field, a 100-meter record.
Huh.
At like 9.4 seconds or something. That may be an exaggeration. I don't know. I don't really remember. Anyway, so back to the game.
So what you're saying is he's fast.
He's fast.
There we go.
All right. Garrett Allman at quarterback, he takes the snap and goes ahead and pulls it in and runs about good 3 yards downfield before getting brought down towards the Chanute sideline.
Another Wildcat kind of situation there, and that's actually something I want to take credit for something, because clearly the coaching staff of Chanute listened to our live stream in that first half.
We have receivers and transmitters and stuff.
That's right. Yeah, we have technology. It works. And I said, like, they need to get Albin the ball as often as possible about every other play. Just get him involved in there. They open up their drive, first play of the second half, with a Wildcat keeper for him, and he gains about 4 to 5 yards. So
looks like Garrett Allman's back. He's back in the Wildcat again.
Yeah, let's
takes the ball, takes the snap, hands it off to Riker Donovan for another 3-yard gain there on the play.
Yeah, so you're setting up third and short, about 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, and Chanute looking again to establish the pace that they started the game with, where they scored not on 2 straight possessions, but 2 straight scores before Coffeyville answered late, and Chanute doing a very good job. Also, the clock is bleeding. We're not anywhere close to the point of the game where you have to worry about all that kind of stuff, but they're doing a good job of kind of concentrating on the pace. They're taking the time of the play clock, and they're moving the ball forward.
Little over 2 minutes into the second half so far. Chanute's gained about 6 yards on this series so far. Seamster at quarterback hikes the ball, gets it to Allman there for the first down.
Yep.
And he's still going, pushing past and spinning past people. And Zach, I've got to apologize because I didn't listen to a thing you just said in between plays last play.
That's perfectly fine. I
was
just
texting my dad.
I gave out your credit card information, and I'm sure it'll be fine.
My wife's going to be mad.
Well, maybe she was listening. And yeah. And so, most spouses are diehards of high school broadcasts. So I'm sure
she's not watching.
She's not?
Let's be honest.
Well, that's the only reason I wanted
I've got
to
2 young
commentary.
kids at home, and I love you, babe, for staying at home with them. You are my everything.
The true champion and MVP of this broadcast.
She's the real MVP.
Is the Mrs. Caleb.
Wood.
That's right.
All right, Seamster back at the quarterback position. Tucks it in, takes the play, and then he jukes past a couple people, gets about 9 on the play there.
And 4 straight plays, ball move forward, positive yardage for Chanute, and they are rolling here to open up the second half. Second and about 1 is all they need.
Absolutely, and we talked about at the beginning of the game that how Caden Seamster against Independence had such a great game. We talked about his 3 rushing touchdowns that he had personally. We just saw a little bit there of his rushing abilities and being able to maneuver past defenders there.
And they're not pulling out trick plays. They're not trying anything fancy. They're playing straight up standard conservative football, and it's working.
Caden Seamster to Riker Donovan again. Riker gets stopped at the line of scrimmage, and he's not going to make any progress there. They were going for a quick first down under center there, and they're still short about a yard.
Yeah, and it's 3rd and 1. Odds are they get it on this next play. I mean, the way Chanute's been opening up, I would just do another run. And even if that doesn't work, you're kind of in that kind of you could punt. Most punts in high school don't travel 40, 50 yards. So, and there's not a lot of wind to mess with that. But I would say Chanute, four down territory here. Why not go for it?
Seamster under center. And he's going to hand it off one more time to Donovan. Donovan's definitely going to get the first down there.
Nice run. Yeah, he picked up 3 when he needed 1. Good
Kept
job.
chopping the feet that we had talked about in the first half. I talked about him needing a little bit of time to get a little more aggressive in the game, and we saw there that he just kept his feet going and got the first down in a couple extra yards afterwards.
And let's give some credit to the big guys up front. I mean, we're not going to call them out by name just because we don't have the rosters in front of us, but we're absolutely going to heap some praise on those guys because that play was a good run because, again, he chopped his feet and positive movement, but that was created space to get that first down from the offensive line.
Seamster hands it off to Char. Char turns upfield, gets 10 yards on the play and more, and he gets brought down at about the 21-yard line, 22-yard line rather, and that's going to be a gain of about 18 yards.
Well, at halftime for high school athletics, I think is 15 minutes, and it was about 15 minutes too long for Phil Kindley. They're coming out flat. They had all the momentum going into halftime. They scored. They had a great defensive stop last 2 plays of the half, and here Blue Comets have refocused themselves and are doing a great job of punching the ball down the field, and they are within scoring distance here, about 21 yards, 22 yards away from the end zone. But that last run was a killer and a great run for the Blue Comets.
Absolutely. Blue Comets with a head of steam coming up to the line. Looks like Seamster's going to be in shotgun again. Looks to be... I don't know what I was saying. Anyway, Seamster gets the ball, hands it off to Donovan. Donovan with a reverse to Chard. Chard takes it, and he cuts outside and gets tripped up and brought down about 3-yard gain there on the play.
Now, it was a reverse. Really the first time Chanute tried to outmaneuver in regards to tricking Phil Kindley. That one, they tried to get the defense motion side to side instead of just running it right at him. However, that play would have been gained 4, which is still a solid run.
Not bad.
That would have been pay dirt had that not been a great open field tackle.
Amir Luton on that open field tackle there that we were just talking about. A great cornerback as we've seen so far, and was really able to maneuver around that blocker there and trip up Raleigh Chard by the ankles.
Yeah, he saved 6 points. That was a textbook play.
Seamster fakes the handoff, passes it, gets knocked down by number 20 from the Golden Tornadoes. That was Ethan Camp. We saw him on offense previously.
Yeah, he's the one. He didn't score, but he was not only set up great field position that last drive for Phil Kindley on offense, but then he got the ball back to the 1-yard line after a loss that allowed Aaron Rutherford to score the touchdown, and they're probably saving a first down there as a linebacker cutting across the middle, knocking the ball down on a deflection. Good awareness and heads-up play from him.
Absolutely, and all it took was a little bit of a hand up, and Seamster was looking for Garrett Allman once again on the little cutting route there in the middle of the field, but Camp just knocked it right down.
Yeah, 3rd and 6. See what Chanute's got.
Seamster in the shotgun, waiting for his call. Takes the ball, has 2 blockers ahead of him, tucks it and runs, and gets about 5-6 yards on the play. I take that back. That's about 3 yards, but we're still... Nope, I take that back. That was about 5-6 yards. My depth perception was off in comparison to the chain gang on the opposite side of the field. That will be a first down for the Blue Comets, and just shy of 1st and goal, though, so they're still going to be 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line.
Well, we opened up talking about injury issues for Chanute, especially at the quarterback level, and you, especially at high school. You don't, nowhere in sports do you want injuries to happen, but especially at high school level. These are amateur athletes who are playing, again, Friday night football under the lights, and so you don't want anybody to get hurt. But Chanute's having their best success when they're having their quarterbacks just keep the ball. Whoever is in that position, they're gaining big yards, so you don't want to take that play off the table.
Seamster to Donovan. Donovan down the middle, gets about a yard on the play, but he will be brought down, and Coffeyville once again on the stop and down the middle.
And that's the difference, where when the quarterback hands the ball, if you're basically as an offense playing 10 versus 11 defenders, but when the quarterback is a running option, when it's a mobile weapon, the defense for Coffeyville is having a tough time accounting for it. Also, just in general, in practice, especially at the high school level, you don't often practice against running quarterbacks because you just don't have the type of depth at the position where you can hit a quarterback at practice on a reliable basis who's also talented enough to showcase those skills. So you just don't practice against a mobile quarterback like that very often. So Coffeyville at a disadvantage and on their heels.
Trips left for the Blue Comets. Seamster takes the ball, and he will tuck it and run, and he will get hit from the side with still a gain of about 1.5 to 2 yards there. That looked like a rough hit there. You know, we talked about his injury last week against Fort Scott. Got a hit to the side of the head, and that one looked very similar, just with a shoulder pad instead of a helmet.
Yeah, it was actually a really good standard tackle from Phil Kindley. He led with the shoulder, hit him shoulder to shoulder, not helmet to helmet.
Yes.
And that's not a very big space of difference. Like, it can easily go from shoulder to shoulder to helmet, but
Yeah.
a good open field tackle there, standard textbook play. And Chanute actually, while knocking on the doorstep of adding 6 more points, is actually at a disadvantage because they need 6 yards to get a first down and 7 to get a touchdown. So they're basically 3rd and goal here, even though they have an opportunity to get a first down.
Trips right for Chanute. Seamster ducks in through a couple of Coffeyville players, but eventually will get brought down with a loss of about 5 yards, and that was 4th down. So that's going to be turnover on the plays for the Blue Comets.
And I don't know.
I take
much.
that back. This is 4th down now.
Yeah, so this is 4th down. So it looks like Chanute is going to kick a field goal, something that is a weapon that not every high school, especially once you get down lower than 5 and 6A, they don't all have. So Chanute going for a field goal, this could give them the lead back up to double digits.
Tyson Lucas for a 30-yard field goal here. Takes a snap. Ball is up.
Ooh.
And it is good.
Nice.
Tyson Lucas not having a great year so far with field goals, but he nails this 30-yard field goal for the Blue Comets, putting them up 17-7.
And that one would have been good from another 10 yards easily. He'd get a nice boot on that.
Absolutely.
Did a good job.
He's been practicing.
Yeah, well, and kicking is really one of the few
Arts.
social distancing activities on a football field that you can do.
Absolutely,
so,
yeah.
So while everybody needs to stay away from each other, kickers are going, yeah, what's new?
Well, and that's the thing, too, is that, we've seen how over the last few decades, how kickers have been able to kick further and further, and
Yep.
and it really has become an art that I've never really been able to figure out. I'm terrible at kicking. I'm always scared that my toe's going to hit the ground and break my ankle. But I've seen interviews. Yeah, I've seen interviews with kickers in the NFL, and they're actually saying, this is just a fun fact aside from the game, but they're actually saying that they believe in the next 10 years or so, people are in the NFL are actually going to be able to be consistently kicking
Like 65-yarders.
70 to 80-yard field goals.
Well, it's the only the importance of kicking, especially field goals, was the only really reliable reason Americans can say this is really called football, because it doesn't make any sense other than that.
Yeah.
So kicking, yes, it is very important, and Chanute using it to its advantage now with a 2-score lead here we've got what 16 and change left in this ball game.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Tyson Lucas back up to kick off for the Blue Comets. Runs up there. Another decent kick. Looks like that's going to be to Logan. Logan drops the ball, and he jumps on it rather than tries to scoop it up. So he's going to get that ball at about the Coffeyville 21-yard line.
Well, and he let the ball, and it's something that wide receivers of all levels do. I was watching, I can't remember what game it was, but it was a couple weekends ago. It was an NFL game, and it was a key clutch play, but a wide receiver trapping the ball against his chest. And they teach you kickoff return is different than catching the football, but you want to have it meet your arms or your hands first, and not the shoulder pads, because there's no resistance there. It just bounces straight off,
and
there's no give.
Your arms naturally make a hole at about the elbows.
Yeah, and
makes sense.
And so there, Logan, I can't see from this far away to see his eyes, obviously. Maybe he was looking downfield ready to make a play before he had the ball, but they're trying to trap it against his shoulder pads. The ball bounces off, but good awareness to recover it.
Rutherford with Logan in motion, pitches it to him with a blocker ahead of him, gets about 4 or 5 yards on the play, gets brought down by the Blue Comets.
Yeah, made a cut back, did a good job. He's done that a few times this game, not to much success. There, though, with 4 yards, the first possession Phil Kindley has in this second half goes for 4, and they struggled in the first half to get reliable yardage on each and every drive. So here they're trying to capitalize on the momentum that they seemingly lost in that first drive for Chanute at the end of the first half, trying to make up some ground again. Now down 2 scores, and Chanute was able to take 5.5 minutes off the clock in just 1 possession. So who knows how many possessions are left for Coffeyville this game.
Rutherford with Logan in motion again, hands it off to Camp down the middle. Camp gets 5-10 yards on the play. He's still going downfield. Finally gets brought down about 15 yards on the gain at the 40-yard line with 3:56 left in the third quarter.
Well, they used a little bit of misdirection right before the ball was snapped in. The key there was they wanted Chanute to be moving laterally versus downhill quick, because that was one of the few times this game that any Field Kinley player has been able to hit the line of scrimmage without contact first. And Camp did a great job hitting that second level with a burst, did a good job of meeting the safeties. Again, gained about 15, 16 yards there. He's a really good downfield runner, but sometimes you got to spread the defense on side-to-side motion before you can get him there.
Rutherford hands it back off to Camp. Camp gets brought down with only a gain of about 3 yards this time on the play. So they're probably really going to be looking for Camp to be breaking down some of this open field here lately.
Well, and again, you go to Camp over and over again. 3 yards a pop, that's all right. You can live with that. You can work with that. And that spreads the defense out. Or in this case, if you run it kind of between the tackles, it brings the defense in. And that gives Rutherford an opportunity, maybe on a quarterback keeper off tackle on the outside. That gives Logan a chance to get involved on the outside. And without all that help from those white jerseys in the center, you've now created a lot more space on the outside.
3 receivers. Rutherford looks downfield and gets knocked away by a blue comet downfield, and that's going to be number 8, Braxton Harding. We saw him at the beginning of the game with that interception, and right there he had a great deflection on the football there as Rutherford was looking for about a 30 to 35-yard pass downfield.
Well, he did a good job of using the entirety of his wingspan to knock that ball down, because if he didn't, he was burnt, and it was going to be 6 to Coffeyville. So I did a good job of using his length to play the ball in the air instead of being locked to either his man or just the ball. He did a good job of, at the last moment, playing the ball as a receiver versus just trying to guard his guy.
Rutherford to Camp. Camp gets stuck at the line and brought down. Still a gain of about a yard and a half.
Yeah, and that's something where if there are grumbles from Coffeyville fans, it's like, well, it's now 3rd and long. So why didn't you do that on 2nd down to set up a 3rd down throw? And so now it's 4th and about 5.5, 4th and 6. And Coffeyville has a question here. Do you give the ball? If you don't get the 1st down here, Chanute's going to have excellent field position on about the 44, 45-yard line. And Chanute moved the ball very reliably in that first drive of the second half.
Elijah Kiever on the tackle on that play. Rutherford with the ball, passes it to Logan. Logan gets downfield. He breaks the tackle, and he has an open field very quick. Cuts it back towards the middle of the field, heading towards the end zone, and he will make it all the way to the end zone, and he will score for the Coffeyville Golden Tornadoes.
Well, and that's something where they wanted, maybe it was the Camp run on 3rd down to bring the ball inside. There, it's just basically a 5-yard stop. There, it gets the ball in open space. The corner was playing about 6 or 7 yards off of him, obviously with the speed advantage to Logan. And there, he's able to hit the sideline and then cut it back. Logan earlier in the game was trying to cut it back too soon and able to meet Chanute at the 2nd level. There, gets to the 3rd level, cuts it back, makes people miss. And as soon as he hit about the 20-yard line and saw all that green space in front of him, there was no doubt he was making the end zone.
William Stocksbury for the extra point. It's up, and it is good. It looks like on that previous play, it looked like Braxton Harding was technically there, but just couldn't quite get there from the speed from Logan.
Well, and part of the play that set that up was actually the previous play. Ethan Camp runs to the right side of the field, closest to us, kind of towards the downside of the camera, and puts the ball on the hash mark on the right side of the field. Logan lines up to the left on that 4th down play, so there is extra field in front of him. So, yeah, the cornerback giving him extra space, but by giving him that extra couple of yards, it actually doubles the amount of space he has to contain him. And with no safety over the top, or at least in position to play that, they weren't doubling, it allowed Logan not only to make the 1st down, but as soon as he was able to get by, there was just so much, the defense, the backside defenders had so much ground to cover. And in that kind of situation where space is king and speed is definitely the ruler, you lose a couple of yards, and there's just some hesitation there, and that is how Coffeyville, again, this is what Chanute was worried about. Coffeyville can score in a matter of seconds.
That was Rutherford to Tariq Logan, and that was roughly a 50-yard pass there. You know, obviously not in air, but roughly 45 yards on foot by Tariq Logan, showing his speed.
Well, Rutherford's thrown, I think, like 4 or 5 passes, so he's now like 2 or 3 for 5 with a 50-yard touchdown. It doesn't look too bad.
Stocksbury for the kick for the Golden Tornadoes. A little bit of a squib kick. Ty Leedy bobbles the ball once again, gets a block, and he will get brought down at about the 25-yard line.
And that is been a constant theme this ball game. It's just
Yes.
the ball not being secured in the play.
both
teams,
sides of the
both
ball,
teams,
yeah.
And it's something where you're almost, and that might be something that on rushing attempts has not been a fumble issue. It's been when the ball is in open space, when traveling through the air, that it's. I think both teams have had. Well, Coffeyville had an interception to open the game. Chanute had an opportunity for the same thing. Ball goes high off of a receiver's hands, goes incomplete, and there's been a couple of fumbles at that second level off of catches where you're just you're now worried about ball security at that level where bodies can get you from all directions.
Mm-hmm. Looks like, Garrett Allman at quarterback gets brought down about a yard after the line of scrimmage. Looking at the Wildcat formation once again early on in the series.
And that was really just a one-on-one play there. So Chanute had 3 receivers to the bottom of the field and trying to spread Coffeyville out. It was really just a linebacker and the offense versus defensive line against Aldman. And there was one of the first times Coffeyville has met the runner for Chanute in the backfield. So it slowed him up and allowed a gang tackle to happen. For really, they gained about half a yard.
1:35 left here in the third quarter. 14-7. Chanute still has the 3-point lead on the Coffeyville Golden Tornadoes. Caden Seamster back at quarterback with Riker Donovan and Ty Leedy in the backfield. Looks like we got about 3 receivers in on the field as well. Excuse me. Seamster looking long for Garrett Allman and not quite going to get there. Had a little physicality there between Garrett Allman and the cornerback there, but the pass was long. It looked fairly accurate. Just Allman was not quite there based on the contact.
And I wasn't watching the top of the screen when the play happened, so I don't know if it was just a go route or if it was kind of like a wheel in motion, but that was Aldman versus Logan. So 2 of the stars for both teams lined up against each other, which you don't always see in football. You see it a lot in basketball, right? Yeah. Especially at this level where at height there's not a lot of 6'7" players, so everybody's height is kind of in a similar range. But there we got to see Logan and Aldman go one-on-one, and really the ball was thrown where it needed to be, just a little bit too long, but it allowed both the players to go make a play.
Seamster to I couldn't see who that was, but to his receiver who got tripped up and fell down, still with a gain of about 4 yards there, and it's going to be a 4th and 3 for the Blue Comets.
Yeah.
That was Garrett Allman one more time.
Yeah, and there was not probably a touchdown in his future, but there was a first down. So now it's 4 and 3, and it looks like Chanute is going to have to punt away. Looks like, and they're going to have to punt before the quarter is over. So probably the fourth quarter is going to start with Coffeyville starting a new drive. Chanute, I liked what they were doing there. Again, they're getting Aldman the ball about every other play. There, just unlucky the turf tripped him up.
30 seconds left in the quarter on the punt. Takes a Blue Comet roll down to the 29, 28-yard line on Coffeyville's side of the field. 23.7 seconds left. 14-17, Blue Comets still up. Coffeyville Golden Tornadoes will be taking the ball now, and Coffeyville, based on that last series that they just had, again, have a head of steam going. They have a lot of confidence, especially in their team, their speedy receivers that they've got, and at the moment, it looks like they're targeting some of the Blue Comet corners. Well,
now Chanute has a question of, do you continue to worry about Camp up in the middle, the running back who's done some damage the last 2 drives? Do you worry about Rutherford's ability to make some plays happen? Or do you continue to put more focus on your secondary on Logan to stop those big plays from happening?
Looks like Blue Comets with 2 safeties. Camp down the middle gets stuck, but then he bounces off of the it looks like he bounced off Riker Donovan with a gain of about 21 yards. There, 22 yards on the play. Riker Donovan didn't, in fact, wrap up, but bounced right off of his chest, bounced out to the outside, left side of the play, and made about another 12 yards on the play.
Yeah, Camp about 5'9", 5'10", so a good center of gravity, good balance there, and able to absorb contact at really kind of a yard past the line of scrimmage. Would have went for about 2 or 3 on the initial point of contact, but able to fight through it, kept 2 hands, 2 arms really on the ball, and able to move past and use that quick burst of speed to get to the secondary level and able to gain, what, about 15 yards there?
Yeah, something like that. So we got a timeout on the field. We're going to go ahead and take a minute-long break here. We haven't taken a break for a little while, so we're going to make up for that a little bit and take a minute-long break. You're listening to Blue Comet Football here on Firescape Radio and Comet Vision. Welcome back to Blue Comet football. Coffeyville on the field. Looks like there was a lateral pass from Rutherford to Logan one more time, but Logan dropped the ball. So once again, we talked about in the first quarter that it's technically a fumble, so that it's a live ball even if it hits ground, and Logan scooped it back up, but still loss of maybe half a yard.
They're going to call it an incomplete. It was a slow whistle there, but he was closer to the line of scrimmage than the quarterback was, so technically it was a forward pass. That's about the second time the ball has hit Logan in the hands, and he's not been able to corral it. There was some heat on that pass.
Yes.
And on a bubble screen, you do not want to loft the ball there because either somebody's going to get creamed or the ball's going to go the other way and an interception. But
at the same time, when you're coming towards the ball, it is very difficult.
Yes.
Rutherford in shotgun, hands it off to Camp. Camp just to the left of the line of scrimmage, gets stopped about 2 yards in, and will get brought down by the Blue Comets.
And so now, again, you're not anywhere close. You're at 3rd and 8, so if you don't get the ball, if you don't get it here, what does Coffeyville do? It depends on how many yards they gain here. I'm all for being aggressive, and if you're looking at 4-down territory, you do not know. Your defense has played pretty strong in this second half, but you do not know if you're going to be reliably able to stop Chanute's rushing attack, and they can eat 6-7 minutes off the clock. How many possessions are you going to get back in this ball game? Coffeyville's got to look to be aggressive here.
Rutherford in shotgun one more time, hands it off to Camp again out to the outside, gets brought down by number 74. That's Kyle Palmer. That's actually the second time he's been on the play there on defense, and he's been doing a great job here on the defensive line.
Yeah, and it looked like Camp might have had some more wiggle room out there, but it's easy when you're watching a game or when you're just observing in the stands to see a lot of green space where they're not going. But the problem is you have to think and react so quickly, and Camp did a good job of just taking the route that was open to him and gained a few extra yards. And here, Coffeyville going for it on about 4th and a long 5, and it's something that I think they need to do. They've got time on the play clock, about 15 seconds left to set up. They're changing the play, it looks like, and they're about in the middle of the field.
Coffeyville, obviously, as we've been talking about, has a lot of fast receivers, but instead they're going to go ahead and take it up the middle again, where Camp is going to be shy about 2-3 yards, and it's going to be a turnover on downs. Blue Comets will take the ball at their own 42-yard line.
Well, I like getting the ball to Camp. What I don't like is a 4th and 5 run up the middle against a stacked box. So that's a difficult play. Again, when we talked about the Tariq Logan catch and run that went for a touchdown that got the game back to single-digit lead for Chanute, the ball was on one hash mark, and it set up a long play where there was space on the other. There, the ball is right between the hashes, right in the center of the field, so they didn't really have any extra room one way or another. So Chanute was able to kind of lock in and keep all the pressure on the inside right where Coffeyville ran into.
Seamster coming in at quarterback for the Blue Comets.
And here again, you don't want to think about, we got to kill a lot of time. You just move the ball forward and get that first down.
A reverse fumble to Raleigh Chard. He picks up the ball, still gets about a yard or two on the play. Looks like there was like almost a double reverse, it seemed like. It looked like a fake handoff and then a real handoff to Ty Leedy, who instead of actually reversing it, had to pitch it because they were a little separated there on the play.
Well, for those of you who are a fan of the movie, Remember the Titans is streaming on Disney+, and that almost could have been a backside George reverse there, trying to get the defense for Coffeyville moving. But again, the ball slipping out of a player's hands when there's a lot of motion involved ahead of time. That ball seems to be very slick, and something is going on out there.
Apparently, we're sponsored by Disney. Caden Seamster gets the ball, and he tucks it, and he takes it for about 5 yards on the play.
First of all, it's a great movie. I do not apologize.
It's a classic. I think for any football fan, Remember the Titans.
Sports fans.
It's got to be top 3 of any movie. That's up there with like Coach Carter and
Hoosiers, White Man Can't Jump, the classics. Stuff
exactly.
Like that. I know it's a great film, and I do not apologize.
No.
Just like I don't think the coaching staff for sure opening up a play with a little bit of trickery there. No apology for them either.
It's the second reverse they've ran tonight,
and it went for positive yardage. 3rd and 3 here. You got to continue to be aggressive.
Caden Seamster drops the ball on the hike. 3rd and 3 there, and the ball will go absolutely nowhere. 8:56 left in the game here, and Blue Comets are still trying to make their way downfield to further their current lead of 17-14.
Yeah, and right now it's punt territory. Yep, they're going to bring on the special teams unit there. So unable to eat up a whole lot of time, 35 seconds on the play clock, and the game clock continues to trickle down. So they're going to get it. The ball is going to be in Coffeyville's hands, provided there is not a whiff of a catch, and we've seen that from both sides all over this game.
Looks like a fake punt where Garrett Allman's going to take the ball. And he's going to come short of the first down marker.
Yeah, he's a yard short. So, again, I like the aggressiveness and the trickery there, but now your defense and your defensive play calling has to be up to snuff, and this Coffeyville team has had spurts of success. So, really, you're laying it all on the line here, which I like. You know, this is high school football. Put it out there. Let your players make plays. And if you're going to give it to one of your players, if you're Chanute, give it to Altman. I mean, he was 1 yard short, but that was a good play, a strong play, and he's been a great player all game.
On the tackle there for the Coffeyville Golden Tornadoes, of all people, was their kicker, William Stocksbury. He broke through the line there. He also plays defensive end, but he broke through the line there and ankle tackled Garrett Allman on that play, giving them the ball now. Let's see. Ethan Camp there on the run. He bounces out to the outside, gets about a 15, 20 yards on the play, and he will finally be pushed out at the 30-yard line in Chanute Blue Comet territory.
And that was big blocking on the outside, able to get a burst of speed right off the tackle in space. Again, he didn't make contact. He wasn't met by a white jersey until he was a few yards down the field and able to get the ball motion. And now the ball is on the left hash mark. So now if they want to go to the right side, there's a lot more open space for this Blue Comets defense that has been giving up a couple of big plays.
Great blocking by Coffeyville's wide receivers out there. First and 10. Rutherford hands it off to Camp, pulls it back actually, and he will tuck it and run towards the near sideline where he will run out of bounds just shy or right at the first down marker. It looks like they may end up giving him that first down mark at the at the Chanute 20-yard line.
Yeah, that's a friendly spot, but Rutherford, they're doing a little bit of RPO. He just waited almost too late. I thought Camp had it, and there were a multitude of white jerseys, but that shows the athleticism and the confidence, because you can be as fast as you want to be, but if you aren't 100% sure you're going to make it out of there with that ball. And the biggest issue with the RPO, which the read and react kind of football play, is both players, the running back and the quarterback, have their hands on that ball for a little bit, and we've seen the ball bounce on the turf from both teams because of confusion. There's always a chance for a fumble on that play.
Logan in motion, hands it off to Camp again. Camp jumps out to the outside, breaks some ground, and he will score for the Coffeyville Golden Tornadoes. From the 20-yard line, Ethan Camp makes it all the way to the end zone through a bunch of Blue Comet defense.
And that was off the right tackle and made a guy miss, but able to use that burst of speed. Didn't keep it inside, went outside, but again, the ball was on the left hash mark, so there's an extra 5 or 6 yards out there to use when you're able to create space. Coffeyville doing a good job of setting up the defense of the Blue Comets before the play, just setting them up to be able to utilize as much of that green space as possible, and he did a good job of protecting the ball all the way to the pay dirt.
Stocksbury for the kick for the Coffeyville Golden Tornadoes. That's going to be up and blocked.
Wow, nice job.
What was great about that run about Camp, though, that I really liked, very smart with Camp, was that when he turned around the offensive line, he stayed shoulder to shoulder with the offensive line so that he knew that he had a lot of field out to his right, that he could outrun the safety there. All it was a foot race, and Camp obviously won that battle there. It is about just shy of 8 minutes here in the game. Coffeyville Golden Tornadoes go up 20-17. We're going to go ahead and take a minute-long break. We'll be right back here on KFEX Firescape Radio.
Everybody up on your feet. Will Stocksbury ready to kick it away.
Back here at Veterans Memorial Stadium. For some reason I have a hard time saying that. Either way, Looks like the Coffeyville Golden Tornadoes are going to kick it far down the field. Looks like Raleigh Chard's going to get the ball. He's going to make his way up the field. He's going to turn the corner, run into his own player. He's still on his feet. It's a ground game here. Raleigh Chard's going to go all the way to the end zone where he will score 6 for the Chanute Blue Comets on this kickoff return from the 15-yard line.
It's really the first kickoff for either team that they actually kicked off all the way down the field. Most have been squib kicks, most have been pooch kicks, and you see why. When you give the ball to the other team's electric players, things are going to happen in the open field, and that is exactly what happened. Chanute needed that, a real kick in the pants, and now they've got fire in their cleats, and now with a 3, possibly a 4-point lead, it's going to put pressure on Coffeyville. They're going to have to score a touchdown on this next drive.
The question for the Blue Comets is there enough time for Coffeyville to either go down the field and for them to come back, or did they leave Coffeyville just enough time to make a difference in this game? Ball is up for the extra point, and it is going to be good.
Yeah, both teams can score in a heartbeat. We've seen that right here. And by the way, not the first kickoff return that might decide a game. We've talked about the first game of the year when Chanute won on a kickoff return for a touchdown. So
against Circle.
Special teams have been excellent for Chanute today. Both in really the only big play they gave to Coffeyville was a punt return, but other their kickoff game has been solid. Their kicking game has been solid in terms of points scored, and now they have a 4-point lead, which basically means, and Coffeyville has not attempted a field goal yet this game, but they have to go all the way. And because you have the lead now, because you have a solid lead, Chanute now puts the mental pressure on Coffeyville of not only do we have to score a touchdown, we got to move down the field and probably one possession.
Absolutely.
Your defense has been solid for Coffeyville, but Chanute, with the way they run the ball, with that wildcat that's been so effective in the second half, they can eat up. It depends on how fast this possession goes for Coffeyville, but they can eat up 5 minutes at a time. And if that's going to happen, Coffeyville, this might be the last possession of the game for the Golden Tornadoes.
Well, and something that Chanute defense needs to also keep in mind is the fact that Coffeyville has had very good series of plays these last few series, and they are attacking Chanute's defense left and right, and they just need to. That's just something they need to get ready for. Is that they're not going to ease up. They're not timid by any means. As Tyson Lucas pooch kicks the ball, maybe 15, 20 yards, and Blue Comets will bring Coffeyville down at their own 40-yard line.
But it doesn't really matter. Like, field position doesn't matter a whole lot because you're not playing to kick a field goal.
No.
You have to get to the end zone. Now, you might say, well, it's easier to go 60 yards than it is 80 yards. Like, well, that's true. But
the end zone's the end zone.
The end zone's the end zone, and it's not moving anywhere. And they chose there on that kickoff to say you're not running it for a touchdown.
Yeah.
You're going to have to earn it, and we're going to give you 20 extra yards just to say you got to earn it. So it's a down payment to force Coffeyville to move all the way. And actually, we're going to have a technical difficulty here. That's the second time. The scoreboard has been flickering over there, and I promise it has nothing to do with the broadcast director from CCC's technical skills.
We can't confirm that statement here
hey.
at KVX radio station. If you didn't catch on, Zach here is the broadcast director at Coffeyville Community College. Once again, we're glad to have him. Ethan Camp, once again with the ball running upfield, gets a good 15, 16 yards downfield as he gets pulled out of bounds by Ty Leedy.
And multiple plays in this second half, he has waited for that left tackle to establish dominance and just waits and then uses that burst to get to the edge and move. Now, again, the ball, I've been talking about the hash marks all second half, but the ball is now on that left hash. So if they're going to move, you'd think they'd have to now, they're going to put some action towards the right or top side of the field. But an excellent job block. I want to look the guy up. That is Bradley White, a 6-foot offensive lineman. He's another senior for this Phil Kindley team.
Still, oddly, one of the taller guys on their team.
That's right.
Camp up the middle with a good 3 yards on the play. One thing that I like about Camp's running style is that it's full stride. You know, you don't see a lot of tiptoeing from him if he is, unless he's behind the line of scrimmage. Obviously, you got to look where you're going there and choose in the moment which hole you're going to fill. But for the most part, once he breaks out of the lineman's vicinity, he is is full stride with his running, and he doesn't care who's in front of him. He's just going to try to run past as quickly as possible.
It's a nice power burst running, right?
Rutherford with a snap, hands it off to Camp one more time. He's their go-to guy, and he still gets about 5 yards on the play, being stopped shy about a yard and a half of the first down marker.
Yeah, and it's going to be 3rd and 1. Obviously 4-down territory here, but did a good job. That again, cutting it back there. And the cutbacks for Phil Kindley in the second half haven't been scoring. It's been to set up, just to gain a few extra yards to set up that punch, and so which is good. That's what you're looking for. So not trying to score every single time, not trying to get that lead back in one big play, but making solid medium range to big plays to set up a drive that they look very confident in.
6:13 left in the game. Rutherford snaps the ball, hands it off to Campen one more time to get the first down mark, and he gains it with an extra yard in his pocket there, just shy of the 30-yard line. And it's going to be first down for the Coffeyville Golden Tornadoes.
And he looked like he was kind of stumbling into that, but the big guys up front for Coffeyville are winning.
They're pushing for him.
They're winning this battle, especially in this fourth quarter. They're doing an excellent job. I got to say, that was almost a dangerous play for Phil Kindley because that ball that snapped into the shotgun came out hot. And good job by Rutherford to hold on to it, to square it, because a lot of times that ball comes out at a normal pace, but I think some excitement for the big guys up front are causing that ball to come out a little bit quicker.
Rutherford hands off with the man in motion. Camp once again up the field. Breaks through someone, gains his footing, and gets brought down just past the first down marker at the 17-yard line.
And there's just nothing you can do if you're Chanute at that point. I mean, he broke 2 tackles at the same time. I mean, you don't see that in Madden. So
and something that I got to say, this has got to be tough on the Chanute linebackers, because you know that it's really hard to want to shoot the gap right away.
Yes.
In on the line, because you know that the Coffeyville running backs like Camp are very capable of bouncing out, but at the same time, if you don't shoot him right away, then he still gets yards right up in the middle.
And there's Rutherford with
down
a keeper.
the middle.
Yeah.
And he still gains about 7-8 yards on the play, and he will be brought down just shy of the first down marker.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be.
It looks like they're going to give it to him anyways.
No, it's going to be 2nd and inches. Again, Rutherford, if he were 2 inches taller, would have had a first down, but we don't fault him for that. And I could say that joke because one of his relatives was my 9th grade basketball coach. And a great guy, Ray Rutherford. So, this Rutherford doing an excellent job. Really a strong performance, really the last 3 quarters from him, and that was a powerful run. Another keeper option for Phil Kindley, doing a good job of waiting and being patient.
And they did go ahead and give them the first down there. Very generous there on the play. And they will be stopped about a yard in. It'll be 2nd and goal with about 5 yards left to the end zone.
And at this level, at 4A football, a lot of these guys play both ways. And so you wonder about conditioning, and it's easier to play offense than it is defense.
Yeah.
Because you just do your job, you go your play, and the defense has to read and react, and and when the other team is running the ball like this, you're actually receiving the hits. So you wonder, it's now 2nd and 5 yards to the end zone. It's 4-down territory. Can Chanute withstand this barrage and find the energy to make a big play here?
Absolutely. Rutherford in the shotgun one more time. Has a guy in motion, and he will keep the ball. Will be shy of the end zone by about a yard. He will get wrapped up and twisted up and thrown down. Looked like he was going for an option play, decided to keep the ball, tuck it, and run, and he almost scored off that play. It'll be 3rd and goal with 1 yard left to the end zone.
Well, their Coffeyville just decides we're going to put our best 3 playmakers in the same place. So they had Camp to the right, moved in motion, and then they had Logan in motion, so they put all 3 of their weapons, and Chanute had to decide what they were going to do. Now, honestly, that play should have been a touchdown. An excellent open field arm tackle by the linebacker.
Coffeyville very spread out. Hands off to Camp. Camp gets stopped a yard behind the line of scrimmage with a loss of about 2 yards, actually.
And there, again, they're just loaded up in the box. Chanute did a great job. They knew the play was coming. They went downhill, and there Coffeyville chose a play that was very slow and developing. It wasn't attacking, and it wasn't aggressive. It wasn't directly downhill. It was a shotgun pass, and there was a hesitation to get the ball into Camp, and that allowed Chanute to make contact deep past the line of scrimmage for the first time in a long time in the second half.
Coffeyville is going to elect for a timeout here with 4th and goal, 3 yards to the end zone, 3 minutes left here in the game. We're going to go ahead and take a minute-long break here with you guys. We'll be right back here on KFEX, Firescape Radio, and Comet Vision.
some noise. It's 4th and go.
We are back here. Like I said before going into the break, it is 4th and goal here with about 2.5 to 3 yards for Coffeyville to score. If they don't get it here, then that may be game for the Golden Natives.
Yeah, and Chanute stacked in the box.
Getting to Camp. Camp will cross the end zone and will score 6 for the Blue Comets.
And that's all. We got to give Camp a lot of credit there.
Yes.
But we need to give more credit to the big guys up front, because that was not anything tricky. Camp did a good job of lowering his head, keeping his feet churning, and through the contact. But the contact was won. Again, it was about a 4th and about 2 yards. That was the entire. If Coffeyville doesn't get in there, the game is basically over. And the big guys up front, they took a timeout maybe to give them a little bit more energy, maybe get a little more rest, because that was the play, and they won that play and gave Coffeyville a lead, 2-point lead, with an extra point coming up.
That was a power move at the line of scrimmage. Field goal kick is up, and it looks like it is good for the Coffeyville Golden Tornadoes. We're going to go ahead and take one more 30-second break here to give Zach and I our voices a rest, because this is crazy here. We have about 3 minutes left here in the game. We'll be right back here on with Blue Comet Radio on KFEX Firescape Radio and Comet Vision. Welcome back to Blue Comet Football. My name is Caleb Wood. I'm here with Zach Mitchell, the Coffeyville native. I am a Chanute native. You would think we'd hate each other, but we're actually really good friends. Not that that's necessarily a
shocker.
A shocker, yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of similarities between both towns and teams, and I got to say both teams have been fantastic this second half. And I got to say, I assume Coffeyville will not try to elect a full-length field kick to Chanute after what happened on the last kickoff.
Looks like an onside kick. Maybe not.
Yeah, like a pooch.
I spoke too soon.
Oh, wow. No, they're going to go deep.
Yeah, they are going for it.
Wow.
It's going to go to Ty Leedy, and he's going to take the ball. No, I take that back. Raleigh Chard, once again, the speed gets tripped up there by Ethan Camp all over the field on every side of the ball.
Yeah, I got to give him Tariq Logan has had some huge plays. Aaron Rutherford doing a great job of leading his team. But Ethan Camp, you got to give him, if you're going to pick an MVP for Coffeyville this game, I got to give it to him. There's 3 minutes left and 2 seconds, and that 2 seconds is going to be very important for the outcome of this ball game. But a great open field tackle. Again, I didn't think they'd be brave enough to try that kind of big of a kickoff, because you see what Chanute can do with space. They're electric, those athletes they've got on that side of the ball. But their Camp just being a better athlete on that one play. We'll see if they can keep it up, or if Chanute can march down the field. They've got their time. They've got 3 timeouts. They got 3 minutes to go. They can do this.
All you needed to do was be a finger length within space, and just that little tap there. Seamster with the ball passes it to Chard right through his fingers, just on his back shoulder. In stride, though, that's just an awkward catch to make for a wide receiver.
Well, it's, like you said, the defender was in stride. It wasn't something where he's probably going to break one free. It would have been a 10-yard gain unless he breaks that tackle, which would have been difficult with the defender right on him. But the throw was a little bit on his back shoulder, again, within his catch radius. But when your body is going one direction and that ball comes in hot, that was a good, hard throw there. It's difficult. And we've seen the ball ricochet off of hands all game long, and it just makes your breath catch when you see that.
3 minutes left in the game, 27-24. Shoots down by 3. Seamster out to Allman. Allman gets hit right away. Once again on Allman's back shoulder. Didn't get a chance to turn up field. Had to turn completely around. Only got a yard on that play.
And smart play call for Chanute, though. Get him the ball. Let your star make plays. And can I just give a shout-out? We mentioned the talent of both teams. I want to talk about the good job both coaching staffs have done with the sportsmanship leadership that they've given to both their teams. I have seen dozens and dozens of times where players from both teams are helping each other up, a slap on the shoulder. Both teams are playing hard, they're playing fair, they're playing clean, and that's why this game has been so good.
Absolutely. Chanute, 3rd and 9. This will say a lot for them.
Wow.
And that's going to be an incomplete pass. Seamster to Allman one more time, down to his left and right through Allman's hands. I take that back, not through Allman's hands. It hit his hands, but a Coffeyville defender was right there to smack it right out.
And it looks like Ethan Camp was again involved in a play. And now it's 4th and 9, deep in their own side of the field for Chanute. 3 straight plays coming out. They had 3 minutes to work with and their timeouts, and Chanute elects to go to 3 straight pass plays. Granted, 2 of them to their best player in Allman, so you can't really fault him for that. But ignoring the run here, and now 4th and long, this might be the ball game.
Absolutely. 4th and 9 for the Blue Comets. Obviously, they're going for it. Seamster looking, scrambling, passes it to Allman, incomplete pass, and it will be a turnover on downs at Chanute's 21-yard line. Coffeyville will take over with 2 minutes left in the game. 27-24, Blue Comets down 3.
Well, Coffeyville rushed 4, and 3 of them were unable to put a lot of pressure, but one guy, the defensive end, forced the quarterback to step up in his throw was a little bit off, and they had every wide receiver basically double-teamed.
Yeah.
And when you have the speed that Coffeyville does in the defensive backfield, there's not a lot of separation, so the ball has to be right in the pocket, and there are a lot of hands, a lot of gloves out there to knock that down. So 4 straight passes for Chanute. Now Coffeyville has the ball. Chanute's got 3 timeouts left, so these are probably going to be 3 straight runs and then 3 straight timeouts. So Chanute hypothetically could get the ball back with not a lot of time left, but an opportunity to still win. They're still in this thing, but they cannot allow Coffeyville to get a first down.
Absolutely. Coffeyville under center. Couple wide receivers down the middle to Camp. Camp breaks through a couple of defenders there and gets stopped just shy of the first down.
And there was a big block at the end of that play. I think the whistle was still being blown, so the play was kind of alive there. And
it's a gray area.
Yeah, it's like, it wasn't a dirty block. I mean, both players could see each other. It wasn't a blindside hit, but it was a big block that didn't really have a whole lot to do with the end of the play. But a 9-yard run there for Camp. Breaking a tackle at the line of scrimmage, just churning his feet. Technically, they're going to call it 2nd and 2. I won't argue with math. I haven't had to do math since I was probably 8 years ago, so 2nd and 2 here, but a lot of time rolling off the clock, and I believe we're going to get a timeout from Chanute. So we've got 91 seconds left in this ball game. Coffeyville in the red zone with the lead by 3. Chanute is going to have to go be a very aggressive, just going after not the ball handler, but the ball itself to try to get the ball back.
Absolutely. 1 minute and 31 seconds left in the game, 27-24. We're going to go ahead and take a minute-long break with this timeout. We'll be right back here on KFEX Firescape Radio for Blue Comet football here on Comet Vision. We're back here on KFEX Firescape Radio and Comet Vision. Just after the timeout, waiting for the clock to start. It looks like the White Hat is talking to head coach Clete Frizzell of the Chanute Blue Comets. Once again, 1 minute, 31 seconds left. Chanute down by 3 here in the game, 27-24. Coffeyville ahead. Coffeyville is now 2nd and 2, 2nd and 1. It's hard to say from up here, but they're on Chanute's 12, 13-yard line.
Yeah, and with 91 seconds to go, again, the most important part of anything on that scoreboard is the 3-point lead for Coffeyville. I would say second is just the field position. If you gave Chanute a couple extra minutes, Chanute wouldn't say no to it, but the fact that they're going to, even if Coffeyville does not get this first down on this play, if they don't get it on the next play, and they just you wouldn't punt. I guess you'd try a field goal. I don't know what they would do. Maybe go for it on 4th down. Chanute is going to have so much of the field to make up with limited amount of time. But which is why Coffeyville in that timeout, the ball carriers have to have been reminded over and over again, not two hands on it, two arms on it.
Absolutely.
Because they're coming for you.
Coffeyville now once again under center. Camp gets the ball down the middle, bounces out to the left, gets wrapped up, pulled down with a loss of about 2 on the play, stopping the clock with 1:26 left. Coffeyville will be at 3rd and 3 right now.
Yeah,
Chanute's going to go ahead and call their second timeout.
Yeah, and I got to say, Altman was on that tackle there, and he did a good job of wrapping up, but not taking the ball carrier down to the turf really quickly, which allowed another player might to come in and knock the ball loose. Didn't happen, but smart play.
Absolutely. We're going to go ahead and take one more quick timeout here on KFEX Firescape Radio. We'll be right back.
Flag out on the play.
We are back, and my mic's not even down in front of my face.
I was
There's
worried.
already a flag on the play. Looks like half the distance.
No.
No, false start on Coffeyville. So that's going to be a loss, a big loss for Coffeyville. Huge for Chanute.
Yeah.
5 yards. So now instead of 3rd and 3, it's 3rd and 8.
Well, and that's something, Coffeyville's success has happened when they haven't had penalties.
Yeah.
Like, they've had a lot of success. They've been moving the ball forward, and they've been clean about it. And there, just a quick middle mistake. I'm going to say it was more nerves. They're
Yes.
excited to play, and that's what a false start is. They just went a little too quick. So now a 3rd and short, now a 3rd and long.
And it looks like Camp right back down the middle. Barely gets wrapped up around the 7-yard line for the first down for Coffeyville.
And it didn't matter.
Chanute's middle linebackers struggling tonight that are just allowing way too many runs down the middle. In this case, a huge first down for Coffeyville with 1:18 left in the game.
Well, he made it past the line of scrimmage without getting hit, and that allowed him to build up momentum. And again, a lot of these guys are playing both ways, so the linebackers are probably a little bit fatigued right now. I know we had multiple timeouts in a row. That doesn't matter. I mean, there's only so much you can get out of 60 seconds of just standing still. You're still going to be tired. You're still going to be sore. And again, the big guys for Coffeyville up front have won the battle this second half and allowing Camp to have enough breathing space, again, a smaller running back, to be able to breathe.
Looks like Coffeyville's going to get into a victory formation. And Rutherford's just going to bounce around a little bit, get a little more time off the clock.
Yeah.
Neal.
Yeah, well, with 40 seconds per play, and basically, the game is over with. It'll be 2nd and long. He went backwards. But there's going to be one more play. But Coffeyville really seizing victory from the jaws of defeat on this one. They were down 14 early. There was no life on that sideline. They fought back. They had a couple of big plays. You got to give a lot of credit to Chanute for being a staunch competitor. They did a great job, made some huge plays of their own with a kickoff return, but Coffeyville at home here at Veterans Memorial Stadium just did a couple of things that allowed Ethan Camp to get going, and he has seized the MVP award for this game, at least from me, and Coffeyville has seized victory.
Absolutely. With one more victory formation, Coffeyville will take that knee and seal the game with a dagger against Chanute tonight in the what was honestly a little more surprisingly active and enjoyable game to watch tonight. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and take a 2-minute long break to kind of run a few commercials for you guys here on the radio station. Here on the live stream, though, we're just going to let you listen to the crowd for a couple of minutes. Again, we're going to go 2 minutes for a break. We'll be right back to wrap things up. All right, we're back here wrapping up the game between the Coffeyville, or should I say Field Kindley, Golden Tornadoes and the Chanute Blue Comets tonight. It was a very enjoyable game, exciting game on both ends. Both sides of the ball, both sides of the sideline. We started out the game with Chanute actually with an interception, almost a pick six, getting stopped at about the 2-3 yard line to start the game. Went up early with a 14-0 lead. Coffeyville before the halftime came back with a very nice run and came back to score 7, making it 7-14 at halftime. Blue Comets were ahead. Second half, coming back out, we had Tariq Logan with an incredible 50-yard, basically a 50-yard run or pass reception all the way down the field, outrunning all of these Chanute players for to tie with the Blue Comets. And then Blue Comets and the Golden Tornadoes just going back and forth here in the fourth quarter, ultimately ending the game 27-24. Blue Comets fall to the Golden Tornadoes. Tonight, we first and foremost just want to thank everybody here in the broadcast, my broadcast team here. I'm very proud of what they're doing, what they're providing for Chanute High School. Can't ask for anything better, even though we're going to strive for better. Zach, I know you know exactly what I'm talking about, being a broadcast teacher yourself. There's a lot of things we can work on, but we just want to thank the community for being so just so encouraging to these guys, these young kids that are literally running the broadcast by themselves. All this broadcast tonight and even last week was all student ran, and like I said, I'm super proud of them. Zach, I want to say thank you to you for coming and helping kind of last minute. I know I didn't give you much time. We didn't have much time to prepare, but
it was fun.
It was very enjoyable. I
fun.
appreciate you coming in. We also want to say congratulations to Coffeyville Golden Tornadoes. They played a very good game, heck of a game tonight, and we're so thankful for just letting Coffeyville come, let us come and play against them tonight with all this COVID stuff. You know, this football season almost wasn't even a thing for high school sports in Kansas. So we're just very blessed to be able to do this. Chanute Blue Comets, we hope that you guys have safe travels home. Thank you for tuning in on the live stream and on the radio. On behalf of Mark and Marilyn Harms and the Coffee House, Firescape Coffee House in Chanute, Kansas, we want to thank everybody for tuning in one last time before we get off of here. There's not a whole lot I want to say. I don't necessarily take as much time after the games as Dave and Bill do. No offense, Dave, but we're going to go get some Brahms. So I hope you you are envious at this moment. I know how much you want Brahms. It's either Brahms or Taco Bell. Either one. Whichever one makes you more upset, Dave. We miss you. We hope you're having fun on your vacation tonight. And once again, God bless everybody. Stay safe on your way homes or just the rest of the night. And thanks for tuning in.